attention to this matter.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome, as always, locked and loaded, rumble.com/LFA TV. This is live from America. I am your ever so humbled, God-fearing host of the show, Jeremy Herrell, the hip-hop patriot. And as you know in the audience, we are broadcasting from the Hawkeye state of Iowa. 98 of 99 counties voted red in the last election, and I'm glad to be broadcasting from here. Let me introduce to you, from a different part of the country, our producer Eli, on this Thursday. Ready to roll, baby. Let's rock.
Patriots, Americans, what's going on, baby? It's time to hit the rumble button, hit the share button. Lots of news to get to. Some of it exciting, some of it's going to make you mad, probably. So let's get to it.
That's right, folks. All the news makes you mad, but you always leave live from America with a smile. Shannon, how you doing? Good to see you. Fun Mom, GR Messick, Texas 20 is here. Patty is here. Claire is here. Claire. Scotty is in the building. Joe is here. DeCluse 214 in the house. Sky is here. Good to see you. Willie is here. Joe Bo is here. Great guy Gary is in the building. We've got Bad Moon here. How you doing? Boomba, Kathy Ratcliffe, XX Machine, and Dana Quebb. How you doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning, and thank you for being here. I did see that when we were jumping on, we had some new people in the chat who said that they've never been here. They don't know who I am. They don't know what this show is. They don't know what this channel is. Let me let you guys know real quick. This is Live from America. LFA TV stands for Live from America TV. All of our hosts are from a different portion of the country. We've got people in Texas and Tennessee. We've got people in Iowa. We've got people in, where else? Where else do we have people? Arkansas. We have people from New York. All of our hosts are from all over the country. And we're always live. So we say we are live from America. Because that's who we are. And that's who we represent. Eli, I almost sounded like Dan Aykroyd on Tommy Boy. Because that's who I am, and that's who I care about. And we're on a mission from God. 2 movies, same guy.
It's going to sound bad, but I actually came up with a good little catchphrase for us. From the river to Tennessee, you must watch LFA TV.
From the river to the sea, you must watch LFA TV. Hey, how you doing? Jay Singles with a $100 donation. Thank you so very much. That is a massive donation. It helps us out. And that kind of reminds me, folks, we are a viewer-funded little tiny news network. And we've been doing this for so many years now. Sometimes we have massive audiences. Sometimes we have less than massive audiences. But we do reach upwards of 100,000 different people a day. We get about 250,000 views on each one of our daily streams, and I believe we're making a difference. And if you want to chime in on that making a difference, if you want to be part of making that difference, then you too can donate as well. You can donate right here through the Rumble Rants, or you can go to lfatv.us, which is the website that you see on the side of your screen right now. And you can make a one-time or a monthly donation there. It keeps us going to places like the White House. It keeps us in the know. It keeps us putting on new people. It keeps us bringing the truth to you wherever we can get out there and get it. Also, you can watch current and past shows. You can watch our short clips. You can check out current updated news. You can sign up for our newsletter. And you can just click to watch live right there on Lfa Tv.us. If you are a podcast person, you can get the audio as well. Live from America with Jeremy Herrell. It's Live from America with Jeremy Herrell. And you can get that wherever you get your podcast, your audio podcast, pretty much any download site that you use to get it. Okay? So check that out today, ladies and gentlemen. Sure, you're going to love it. If you are new to the channel, sure, you're going to love it. We have some birthdays, right, Eli? Did you say we have a birthday in the house somewhere?
That would be for Cat Pill, who turned 64. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cat Pill. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
And her name is actually Kathy, so happy birthday from all of us here at LFA to you, Kathy. God bless you. We had a lot of birthdays in the house today, Eli. We had Kristen Donovan. We had Kathy. We had Al Morris from Al and Carol Morris from, I believe, the UP in Michigan. We had Lana's birthday today. We had a lot of birthdays this morning that I saw during the Rise Up Hour. And by the way, if you did not get a chance to see Rise Up this morning, let me tell you, it was fire. You're going to want to go back and watch that. Now, for the morning video, to really get our blood, I got your blood pumping. No? Harness it. Use it. Boom. Ha ha. They told you MAGA was dead, and then Donald Trump endorsed all of those candidates during those primaries and won 99% of them. Doesn't sound like MAGA's dead. They said that President Trump destroyed the Republican base with the Epstein file botch and the Iranian strikes. Well, this says otherwise.
Love Donald Trump more than any president's own party supporters loved him at this particular point. Just take a look here. Okay, own party supporters, 21st century presidents, own party approval about at this point in the second term. Bush was at 77%. Obama was at 77%. Look at this. 86% of Republicans approve of the job that Donald Trump is doing at this point. That is higher than either Obama or Bush had within their own party at this point. Trump's magic touch has not seemed to wear off yet when it comes to the Republican base.
And what kind of approval are we talking about here?
Okay, so we're talking about overall approval here. How about the strongly approved, not just like, but love. Okay, we're going to look at these same presidents again. Strong approval among your own party's base. What you see here is Trump is the only one who gets a majority at this point in their presidency. Obama was at 48%. Bush was at 47%. You see here Trump at 53%. Not as high as overall approval rating, but still getting a majority of the Republican base, at least in the average of polls, to say that they still really, really, really like him.
Okay.
I would say really, really, really love him. Look, when I signed on to support this man, the fact that he held any of his promises was new to me. In all of my years following and loving politics, which go and stretch way back before I started doing this or any kind of podcast, I have never seen a president say, I promise I'm going to do this, and then go and make good on those promises. So if Trump even made good on 2 out of the 30 that he made, I'd be happy with him. But since he has followed through on a majority of his promises already with what he's fighting, I'm behind this man until the end. And I respect those people who decide that they don't want to anymore. But I would say at least have an actual real legitimate reason, and not because you're following a trend on social media. Ask yourself, what was the primary reason that I voted for Donald Trump for in 2016, in 2020, and 2024? What is the primary reason? You don't have to put that in online. You don't have to put that in the live chat. You don't have to admit that on TV or online or on your own station or on your own channel or on your own podcast. You don't have to admit that to your brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers. Admit it to yourself. What was the primary reason that I voted for Trump for in 2016, 2020, and 2024? And has he either made good on that promise or fought like hell to make sure that he could? Right? Somebody said, not a podcast I care for or support. Redacted. Said Jesus C. Rome. Not sure if you're saying Redacted is the podcast you would support or this one, but just wanted to read your comment. Thank you, Cat Lover. God bless you. I voted for two things mostly. Number one, seal the border. Close the border, seal the border. And deporting people was kind of the same promise, okay? I want all the people that came in deported, and I want the border closed. The border was closed in the first year, and 3 million people are gone. That's a good start. So I'm good there, as long as he continues to do what he's doing there. The other thing that I voted for President Trump, was to drain the swamp. Now, government employee, the size of our government, as far as the number of employees in the first year, dropped to its lowest in the last 50 years. Part of draining the swamp is to get rid of the size of the swamp. Look what he did with the Department of Education. Look what he did with USAID. Look what he's done with the Kennedy Center. Look what he's done with the IRS. Look at how many people he's fired or put in another place. That was his first year. Now we want to see arrests made on that of high-profile people. That's still yet to come. And we don't know where that goes. One thing that we know for sure is there's going to be a huge fight on that one because of judges and grand juries where these people have to have charges brought up against them. And he's actively trying to fire judges now. Now I want to see more judges be impeached like Judge James Boasberg, but those were the two major reasons that I voted for Donald Trump. The economy would already be in the bag. The guy's a businessman. It's nothing that I was like, I need this to turn around. This is my big, I know that's going to come with Trump. A good economy is going to come with Trump, period. But I did it for strength, and I did it to stop the bleeding of people coming into this country and to hold the people accountable who are corrupt and who have destroyed this country. Those are the main reasons I voted for him for. Everything else is just cherry on top. Okay? Deb Graham says, well, the Autopen isn't going anywhere. They closed it. You're exactly right. And we're going to talk about that today. One thing that I don't agree with. Still support him until the cows come home. That's where I stand. And if you want to say where you stand in the live chat, go ahead. If not, that's okay too. Now, before we get moving on here, since we are, dropping bombs, Irans, since we're doing that, I want to talk to you about being perfect every time with your shot. What does that mean? What does it mean to be perfect every time with your shot? Well, what that means is that every time you pull that trigger, you're going to hit your target. That's what it means. And if you look on your screen right now, you'll see a QR code. And on your QR code on that screen, and it's going to take you to MCG Tactical. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to shoot with the same precision tech that is used by the U.S. Special Forces? Well, good news, folks, because after years of research and development, our friends over at MCG Tactical just dropped something incredible. It's called the Stinger Combat Sight. Eli really liked this when we first started talking about this. This isn't your average red dot, folks. Using holographic technology once reserved for elite military and law enforcement, the Stinger delivers crystal clear precision so accurate that you can hit a dime at 300 yards without even trying. This is the exact same level of technology used by the pros. But here's the twist. Most sites like this go for $600 or more, and people will happily pay for it if they're in the sport or if they are that serious about their firing ability. But right now, through an exclusive deal with MCG Tactical, you can get this mil-spec sight for under $200. And it gets better. For the listeners here at Lfa TV, you're getting 67% off, and they're covering shipping and handling. Just click that QR code on your screen or go to mcgtac.com/LFA to get yours today. Now, supply is light on these, so you're going to want to get in there and get in there quick. The link is not only on the bottom of your screen right now, but it is also in the description of this channel, okay, of this show today. mcgtac.com/LFA. What a great sponsor for all of our Second Amendment people out there, living strong. Also want to say thank you to OFP Farms. OFP Farms right now has the 250th birthday gift box for all of your skincare and cosmetic needs. Goat soap, goat milk and tallow soap, right from Denise and Corey at OFP Farms. And as always, you're going to get your discount by using promo code RISEUP. So go to ofpfarms.com today. Get your 250th birthday box reserved for you. Pre-order it today. Get it going. And pick out something nice today as well for your loved ones over there at OFP Farms. It is ofpfarms.com, promo code RISEUP. ofpfarms.com, promo code RISEUP. Goat milk, soap, and tallow products, okay? All right. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. I want to thank our sponsors for the show. I want to thank all of you who buy things from our store and buy from our sponsors. It's what keeps us going here. So this is the portion of the show where we do the Lord's Prayer. For anybody who is new, please join with us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. In Jesus' name, his birth, his life, his death, and his resurrection, we say as a family and pray, amen. Amen. And again, big shout out to Jay Singles. Thank you for that $100 donation, man. We really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, who's ready for that first slurp of the day? Let's get busy here. By the way, if you have just come in to watch and you have not hit that thumbs up, it's super easy. Just go down there and smash it right now. And if you haven't gotten a chance to share yet, whether you're watching on the app or whether you're watching on your phone, grab the link, share it over to your social media today. That is power. That's how we get back into the game. I made a Facebook Live yesterday, which I'm going to do every day following this show to recap what we talked about, get people engaged again so we can go out and we can hammer out these midterms and keep the House, the Senate, and the White House. Sound like a deal? All right, here we go. First and foremost section of the day. I'm sure by now you guys have all seen about the fake hero known as Brian McGinnis, who's running for North Carolina Senate, still serving. Yeah, he's got his GoFundMe up today because he decided he's going to act like an immature, petulant child while wearing his suit, his uniform that he fought for this country in, as a publicity stunt to gain more money, get more campaign donations, and act like an absolute fool in uniform. You want to act like a fool, go ahead. It is what it is. Patrick Merrick says your show is currently on the Gateway Pundit. Where's that? Does it show that somewhere? That'd be cool. Big shout out to the Gateway Pundit. I don't know what that means. But if they're showing the show on the Gateway Pundit, shout out to them. Jim and Joe Hoft, good people. If you're going to act like a damn fool, don't act like a damn fool in uniform. Don't do that. That's horrible. That's disingenuous. That's fake. And especially you know that if you put that uniform on, you're going to garner the attention that you want. What am I talking about? Well, yesterday, Former Navy SEAL Senator Tim Sheehy had to respond physically after a violent Capitol hearing clash with an unhinged anti-war Marine veteran. Tim Sheehy had to get involved. He had to help Capitol Police get this unhinged Green Party Free Palestine loser out of the chambers. And when they did, they broke his arm. They broke his arm. Snapped his arm. But I will argue that they didn't break his arm. Dipshit broke his arm himself by fighting with police. He now has charges, criminal charges, based on this stunt that he tried to pull yesterday. And big shout out to this man right here, who's also right here in the suit, Tim Sheehy, for going up there and muscling this man the way he did, because the cops weren't able to do it on their own. This man is an absolute disgrace. Not Tim Sheehy, the man you're about to see in the video. Let's go ahead and let's play the video. I'm gonna probably show you a couple different views of this, by the way. He was obviously trying to film it himself as well. Hold on. He was trying to film it himself as well, but you don't really get to see much from his vantage point. So we're going to just pull this up for you real quick here. This is the moment where Tim Sheehy had to get involved. The cops couldn't do it on their own. The guy was screaming about Israel and Iran and Palestine and screaming that we were sending our sons and daughters to die and we're not fighting Israel's war, and then did this. Now tell me, is this becoming of a man or a woman in uniform?
Ow. No one wants to fight.
See, he puts his own arm behind the door.
His hand. Oh,
Here it comes. They already broke it.
Let go of your hand. Let go of the door.
The senator broke his hand, someone says. Shut up. Break your hand next.
U.S. Senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Yeah, okay. That's a good story. Rosa Parks.
Arm stuck in the door. Okay, sir.
A U.S. Senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Break the hand of more Marines, too, if they want to act like this.
A U.S. Senator just broke the hand of a Marine. You're a coward.
Oh.
What'd you say? Senator? Go fuck yourself. You were a shitty SEAL. That's why you got kicked out, fat ass.
So some guy just said you were a shitty SEAL, that's why you got kicked out, fat ass.
Everybody sit down, please.
Because it's all part of the game.
Everybody sit down, please.
I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please. Is your hand okay? Okay.
No, it's not.
This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Just pull it out.
Disgusting.
Is it disgusting? What's disgusting? The fact that the guy had to sit there and act like a freaking child and scream stupidity during a hearing just to be heard, just to create a spectacle. You know he's running for Senate, right? I'm glad that they broke his arm, or should I say he broke his own arm. And of course he had people in the audience that were going to do this. They knew that they were going to do this. Here's another view of it. Listen to the snap. This is him fighting police.
A reminder to all our
Commandant, please stand up as a Marine and stand up for America.
Here comes the snap.
No one wants to fight for Israel.
There it is. Oh!
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What happened?
Sir, thank you for your service, but please return to help.
A senator broke his hand. A senator broke his hand. I guess he ain't much of a Marine then, is he? The senator broke his hand. What kind of a person dresses up in uniform and acts like that anyway? I'll tell you what kind of a person. This dipshit right here. Brian McGinnis. I'm running for U.S. Senate as part of the Green Party. Nothing could be more gay than that. I'm part of the Green Party, everybody. You know what else he is? Free, free Palestine. He's also a free Palestine loser as well. You know that? You notice on the way out he was screaming, if you see videos of him in the hallway, he's screaming, free Palestine, free Palestine, free America from occupation. The guy's clearly an unhinged loser. I don't care if he served or not. I don't care if he served or not. Thank you, Tim Sheehy.
A reminder to all our
Commandant, please stand up as a Marine.
I want to hear his arm break
Stand
again.
up for America.
Yeah, Tim Sheehy, badass.
No one wants to fight for Israel.
Pop. Oh, there it goes. Yeah.
Sir, thank you for your service. Please,
Senator broke his hand.
A senator broke his hand. The senator broke his hand. Well, guess what, folks? Now McGinnis is facing 3 counts of assaulting a police officer, 3 counts of resisting arrest, as well as an unlawful demonstration. And I have a feeling that Pete Hegseth might have something to say about this too, since he did it in uniform. This was all planned, by the way. This is all planned. He's there with other veterans right here. This is beforehand.
Hey guys, I'm here in DC trying to speak out against the Senate and ask them why they're going to send our men and women to harm's way when our elected officials said that there would be no war. Anybody who feels disillusioned and betrayed by our government, you're not alone. Join us in demanding accountability for this betrayal. Free Palestine, free America. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm here in DC.
He says he's breaking his silence. Well, guess what, Eli? They broke his arm. And I put that in here too. I put it right here. Look at this. Let's bring this up. Jeremy Herrell. Oh, right there. That's me. Ha ha ha. Free Palestine. LMAO. Eat shit. Let's see what I got back. You go and do that, POS. Ian Smith Fitness says, salute, brother. Let's see some more replies. What a hero. This guy is real AF. Well, whoever says that is not real AF. He can't. They broke his arm. By the way, Ian's a piece of trash now, too. This guy was the guy that had the gym during COVID. Made his fame off, trying to shut his gym down. And now he hates Trump. Yeah, so, size 7, I keep seeing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, it's not the way to get a response, by the way. I hope Pete Hegseth gets involved on this, Eli. I hope that this man loses some kind of a status, some kind of rank, some kind of something in all of this, because Free Palestine while wearing your United States Marine uniform, railing against your brothers and sisters who are out there killing radical terrorist Muslims. What a good look. Not. Eli.
I'm beginning to think there's just no things that happen without being planned anymore with the day and age that we're living in. So I'd really like to see what was behind that door, or more importantly, it might have been who was behind that door. I feel like that entire thing was set up because as much as a pussy as he looks like, I will say he's a Marine, and I'm sure he can take a threshold of pain. Was him breaking his hand, planned? Because how do you get your hand stuck in a door like that? That whole thing was just really weird. But I'm a conspiracy theorist.
No. He didn't get his hand stuck in the door like that, Eli. He grabbed the door to hang on. It was 2 doors with a metal bar in the middle, right? The metal separator in the middle. So they were taking him out one door, and the other door that was open, he reached around and grabbed that middle metal post where the door was going to close in on, and then that door closed in on his arm. And as they were trying to pull him and push him out, he wouldn't let go. So when I said he broke his own arm, the dumbass broke his own arm, holding on to that post, trying not to be pulled out of there, right? And if you're a real Marine, when you're told to do something by authority, what should you do? Especially, you're a former Marine. You're a former Marine. So wearing your uniform was just a publicity stunt. Just a publicity stunt. I don't think he knew he was going to get his arm broke. I don't think that was planned. What was planned was his bullshit, stupid PR stunt. Now, this is his Instagram page. He's got 235,000 followers. And if you look here, it says political candidate, Green Party, U.S. Senate, North Carolina veteran, firefighter, father of 4, healthcare is a human right, people over profits. And this is his page right here. So if you go through, his name is, again, Brian McGinnis, McGinnis. And his page is Brian McGinnis NC for North Carolina. So, I mean, I'm not telling anybody to go and just outright disrespect somebody who wore the uniform, but I think maybe everybody should go and let him know what they think of him wearing that uniform, doing what he did. Part of the Green Party. Yeah. Yeah, the only Green New Deal is Greenland, former Marine. I love how these formers keep talking like they matter. Former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yep. Former. So now when I talk to Marjorie Taylor Greene on her X threads or Instagram threads, she'll never text me, by the way. All these people have my number. The Owen Schroyers of the world, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world, the Ryan Mattas of the world, the Alex Joneses of the world. They all have my phone number. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. None of them will get back to me. None of them. Because they're all weaklings like this. They're all cowards like this. Everything they're doing is to hurt Trump. You heard Nick Fuentes yesterday, right? I'm voting Democrat. So Alex Jones cried, literally cried with Nick Fuentes on his show 2 days ago. I didn't get to show that yesterday because I was carrying the press conference, but literally cried. Everything I voted for, everything that I worked for MAGA for so many years, it's all going down the drain, Nick. What do we do? What do we do? Nick's like, I hear you, bro. I hear you, and I know it sucks. I wore that red hat, too, all through college, and I fought for that man, too, and it feels like a kick in the balls. You got to have a set of balls to get kicked in them first, Nick. And Alex Jones, I am absolutely ashamed of you. Oh, I just don't know what's going on. I can't believe I put my blood, sweat, and tears in this man, and then he betrays us and starts World War III. Ah, the frogs are gay. You're gay, and you're washed up. Maybe those lawsuits finally got to you, huh, bud? What the hell are these people's problems? I'll tell you, they got the same TDS as this guy right here, for whatever reason. I don't get it, don't know why, don't really even care. But I'm going to call them out, and not a single one of them will reach out back to me. Isn't that something? So, that is our opening bitch of the day, is this guy here. And then I see people are trying to he's disappeared. I saw all over the internet. He's been disappeared. The government disappeared him. Oh, they disappeared him. Nobody can find him. Well, he's at the hospital. They took him to the hospital where he is recovering from his little broken arm. He's got a little cast on. He's going to be released from the hospital today. Oh, and I guarantee you're going to see press conference after press conference. Why? Well, not because he started a scene and got his arm broke, because he was wearing the Marine military uniform when he did it, and that was the by design part. It's like putting on a priest's, a Catholic priest suit with the little white thing right there, or a nun outfit, and going out there and fighting crime, trying to save somebody. Oh, look, he's just trying. Poor priest, poor nun, poor Marine. You couldn't have done that without your former Marine uniform on. Former. That's what I call Marjorie when I go to her page. I'm like, hey, former, what are you talking about? I thought you were former, not current. That means STFU, ASAP. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. President Trump put out a Truth Social yesterday, which sparked massive amounts of conflict and people's opinions, including mine, online. And President Trump said the following. Let's bring his True Social post up here. Here's his True Social post right here. It says, the Republican primary race for the United States Senate. Actually, you know what? Let's pull it up so that people can read along too. I don't want anybody to accuse me of saying something that Trump didn't say or blah, blah, blah. Here we go. The Republican primary race for the United States Senate in the great state of Texas, a state I love and won 3 times in record numbers, the highest vote ever recorded by far, cannot go for the good of the party and our country itself be allowed to go on any longer. It must stop now. We have an easy-to-beat radical left opponent, and we have to totally focus on putting him away quickly and decisively. Both John and Ken, John Cornyn and Ken Paxton, right, ran a great race, but not good enough. Now this one must be perfect. My endorsements with the Republican Party have been virtually insurmountable. It is such an honor to realize and to say that almost everyone I endorse wins, and wins by a lot, especially in Texas. He says, I will be making my full endorsement soon, and I will be asking the other candidate that I don't endorse to immediately, in capital letters, drop out of the race. Is that fair? We must win in November. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Well, here's what I'll say to that. Politics is a game of I do for you, you do for me. Politics, the entire game of politics is what can you do for me? Not what can I do for my country, but what can you do for me? John Thune does not want Ken Paxton in the Senate. John Thune is begging President Donald J. Trump to endorse establishment rhino John Cornyn. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, the very man who replaced Mitch McConnell when senators rightfully rejected John Cornyn, is now brazenly pressuring President Donald J. Trump to back Cornyn in the highly contested Texas Senate Republican runoff. Now, this begs a massive, alarming question. Is Leader John Thune deliberately delaying the crucial SAVE Act to use it as leverage to save Cornyn's political career? That is the question here at hand. And it's time to remind President Donald Trump that Senator John Cornyn is not MAGA, does not think the election was stolen in 2020, did not think that President Trump should have pardoned J6ers, thought that President Trump was wrong for inciting a riot or an insurrection on January 6th. He's that piece of shit. He's the guy who loves Islam and simps for Islam. He's the guy who hates Donald Trump, actually. That's who he is. No matter what the lying deep state promises him, some things are too broke to make a deal for John Cornyn. He's one of the most corrupt and disgusting senators in the United States history, and making a deal with Cornyn and with John Thune will never be accepted by MAGA. But I will say that politics is a game of I do for you, you do for me. So I put out 2 videos concerning this, one yesterday and one today. Here's the one from yesterday. What happened to it? Where'd we go there? Come on. Here's the one from yesterday, okay? A message for President Donald Trump. This is a very important message for President Donald Trump. So I would really appreciate it if you guys could share and tag President Trump in whatever platform that you're watching this on right now. And I think most of us would agree. President Trump just put out a True Social about the Senate race with John Cornyn and Ken Paxton heading to the runoff as a result of last night's primary election, with neither getting over 50%. President Trump said it is time to unite. We have an easily beatable Democrat here that we should be able to walk all over, but we have to unite now. President Trump said he will be making his endorsement very soon, and that he expects the other to just walk out as soon as this endorsement comes out, especially after we seen last night that President Trump's endorsements are flawless, literally 99%. So Here's my President Trump. You said that this was our campaign. You said that this was our presidency to go back in and do what we never got a chance to do when the election was stolen in 2020. President Trump, coming from somebody who's been there with you since day one, who's performed outside of Trump Tower in New York, who has met you, who has done countless campaigns with you, who has sat there and reported these campaigns for you on Lfa Tv. The people do not want John Cornyn. We know that there's a lot that goes into these decisions that information that we're probably not privy to. But I can promise you, President Trump, that John Cornyn is a rhino that none of us like. We do not want this man. And I'm not presumed to sit here and say that I think I know more than you, but I'm just telling you loudly what we feel here on the ground. Because you're a great president, you always listen to your base. And you respond to that base. Regardless of how you respond to it, you respond to it. So we're asking you, please, everybody in this thread, everybody that you see across social media, to endorse Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton is a far better man than John Cornyn. John Cornyn is an absolute rhino. We already have enough problems with rhinos like John Thune. That's why we can't get the SAVE Act through. We can't add to this mess, okay? John Cornyn is a rhino. And Ken Paxton can beat the Democrat. He can beat him. It's not like he's unbeatable. Ken is a great guy. People love him. He's been a great attorney general. So just from our perspective here on the ground, President Trump, please listen to us when we say, do not put another rhino around your camp. Do not put another rhino in a seat of power. Endorse Ken Paxton. That is what the people want overwhelmingly. You don't have to take my word for it. Just read through the thread of whatever platform this is on. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, that got a lot of attention. Now, I'm not going to play the next video for you. I'm actually going to ask you right here, right on this channel, right on this live. And I want you to really think about this before you just answer it. Because I know where your flesh and maybe even your heart is going to go right away. Wait until I'm done before you answer. Okay? And that's this. If John Thune wants John Cornyn instead of Ken Paxton so badly, and John Thune says to President Trump that I will get rid of the zombie filibuster and I will force a talking filibuster and we will pass the SAVE Act and get it on your desk if you endorse John Cornyn, would you back President Trump in endorsing John Cornyn? Now, I know that doesn't sound good. I know it sounds like political games and quid pro quos, but let's not pretend that that's not what DC is, okay? Now, at first glance, I would say, I can't do it. I can't do it. I got to side with who I think is the right person for the job. But then on the flip side of that, John Cornyn would be there for 6 more years, and the SAVE Act would ensure that no illegal alien ever votes again, and that Democrats would lose a lot of elections coming up. So, what's more important to you? 6 years of Ken Paxton as a senator, or forever with the Save America Act signed into law, and then we compound on that with getting rid of the machines and watermarking the ballots? It's a very tough question, isn't it? It's a very tough question. Now, morally and individually, we would say immediately, no. Morals matter, and I don't care. John Cornyn is a rhino. We can't add to the problem. But knowing how important the SAVE Act is, and with John Thune there till 2029, and nothing in sight to say that he's just going to capitulate for nothing, it's a very, very difficult question to answer. I think that the Save America Act is more important to the country and to the future of the country than Ken Paxton as a senator for 6 years. Or however long, I think it's 6 years. I think the SAVE Act is more important to the country I think to Texas and to us individually, getting a rhino out of position and power is what's more important. So if we're thinking micro, then I think that we would want Ken Paxton. If we're thinking macro, then we're thinking Save Act. It's a very difficult question to actually pull the trigger on. Because I can guarantee you right now, President Trump is faced with that decision right now. What does he do? Does he do what he knows is best for the country, which is to get the Save Act through? Because I think we can all agree that for the country, the Save Act is more important. Right? No illegal aliens voting, have to show ID, have to prove you're a citizen to vote. I mean, that's forever, baby. That is forever. That is in law forever. So if President Trump is faced with this decision, which I think he is right now, the question is, what will he do? First of all, he'd have to get a guarantee from John Thune in some way, shape, or form that he will end the zombie filibuster, force the talking filibuster. At the end, we vote. We get 51 votes. We win. Save Act goes to President Trump's desk. And I think Trump could get that guarantee somehow. I don't think he's stupid. He's the art of the deal guy, right? And I think faced with that decision, I think I know what he's going to do. I think he's going to, if that's the case, if he can get it through, I think he's going to endorse John Cornyn. As much as I hate it, I think he's going to. And there's going to be a lot of pissed off people. But at the same time, we will never have another illegal alien. Well, we won't have illegal aliens voting in mass. And if I was president, I would endorse Ken Paxton, and I would find another way to force John Thune to do the talking filibuster. Because Donald Trump is the art of the deal guy. He does know how to put pressure on people. If I was him, I would do what the base wants done, and then I would do my job and somehow force John Thune to the talking filibuster. And you know how I would do that? I'd get 27 senators on my side to get rid of him. That's what I would do if I was Trump. That's what I would do. I would threaten and pressure John Thune as much as I had to. I would endorse Ken Paxton, which is the people's choice. I'd get rid of a rhino, and I would force another rhino to do what I want. I'm the president of the United States. I'm the most powerful man in the world. And I know that if I can't get you on board, I can get 27 other senators on board to remove you like we did Kevin McCarthy. That is what I would do. I know I heard Sean has his thoughts on that, but that's Sean. This is what I would do if I was president. I guess we'll see where it goes. But everybody's opinion is valid here. Okay? Everybody's opinion is valid. Yes, we absolutely need the SAVE Act passed. It is a must, no matter what. It's a must. Or we don't secure our elections for the future of our country. However, it's also a must that we get rid of rhinos. That is a must as well. It right up there for this with the same must. Those are musting the same. We must get rid of rhinos. So here's what could happen, though. What if Donald Trump says, okay, I'll endorse John Cornyn, but for that endorsement, you have to guarantee a talking filibuster, and then Texas goes out in droves and votes for Ken Paxton anyway. And then Ken Paxton gets elected, and John Thune has to capitulate to Donald Trump and give him the talking filibuster. That could happen too. That could happen too. Donald Trump's endorsements are not always right. Look at Lindsey Graham, for crying out loud. Sometimes he has some really shitty endorsements. John Cornyn would be one of them. But he is between a rock and a hard place here, I think. But I know one thing, folks. Let's pivot. The other day I talked about people running unopposed when I had Dylan Filion in. And I remember up in New Hampshire, one of the reasons I ran for county commissioner was because the Republican Party had nobody to run. That means the Democrat incumbent would have won unopposed. Well, the GOP really dropped the ball in North Carolina as a Muslim Democrat just ran in a Republican primary because they don't have closed primaries there. They have open primaries and won unopposed. Yep. Lakeisha M. Alston, North Carolina Senate, District 22, just ran unopposed and won her primary as a Republican, even though it's a Democrat, because of North Carolina's open primary laws. The GOP needs to get its absolute sugar honey iced tea together, man. Lord help us now, said Jeremy. Trump just signed an executive order to get rid of mail-in ballots, but an executive order isn't law of the land. That's the problem. It has to go through Congress to actually become law of the land, which means that every state must follow that. In order for Donald Trump to enforce his executive order, he's going to have Department of Homeland Security at every single city and every single polling station in the country that we know cheats, which is virtually impossible because we don't have the resources or the numbers. So an executive order is great, but unless they codify that executive order into law, it really doesn't mean much unless he's got the resources to enforce it. And our biggest problem has always been the GOP, the grand old party who can't get their shit together long enough to even put somebody up to run. How could North Carolinians let this happen? Lakeisha Alston, a Muslim woman who went viral last year for wearing a niqab, like a hijab, in her campaign photo, is officially a GOP nominee for North Carolina's District 22 State Senate seat. Alston, who was listed as a candidate by the Durham County Board of Elections just 2 days before the filing deadline, won the nomination after running unopposed. See, what the Democrats did there is they said, hey, we've got a Republican seat running unopposed. There's nobody there. There's nobody there for the primary. So here's what we do. We go run a Democrat Muslim there. I told you the Muslims were going to take over the Democrat Party. Did I not tell you that? Did I not tell you that? And everyday people, you know that when we used to have over 5,000 people in here, 1,500 people didn't leave because of my mouth. They didn't leave because of I said something that they didn't like to somebody in the chat. Maybe a couple hundred did, but not 1,500 did, not 2,000 did. Do you know why they're not here? The same reason why North Carolina just let a Republican seat for state Senate run unopposed, because they could give a shit less. They're busy in their everyday lives, scrolling through Facebook or watching Netflix shows. They voted for President Trump in 2024. He won, and then they kicked their feet up, and they sat on their fat ass, ate Cheetos, and watched TV and said, we're good now. And nothing pisses me off more than lazy, apathetic, complacent Republicans. And that is how this person won in North Carolina. And for no other reason. Because of lazy, worthless, apathetic, low IQ, ignorant, uneducated, pussy Republicans. Period. Don't like the language? Be part of the other 200 that left. Because as of right now, folks, it is do or die time. If Donald Trump loses the midterms, or if we don't get the SAVE Act passed, you can guarantee that Donald Trump will not only be impeached, but they will come after him and try to put him in prison again when he leaves. And maybe some of us. That's the problem. Republicans are lazy. Republicans are ignorant of the facts, and they could care less. The other day, I saw a guy taking a picture of my truck as we were driving. I was driving by him. He was trying to film my truck. I pulled into the gas station, and about 2 minutes later, as I'm sitting there filling up my gas, this guy pulls in. He said, bro, I had to turn around. I said, what's up, man? He said, I love your truck. We started talking about things. He said, is this right here in this town? I said, yep. He goes, oh, I'm going to have to start watching it. He may be watching the stream right now. He says, you know what really bothers me more than anything? I said, what? He goes, I see protests all the time of these brain-dead, dumbass Democrats walking around with signs of stuff they don't even know what they're talking about, but yet there's hundreds of them there. He goes, I never once see a Republican event or Republican protest or Republican rally unless Trump is here. Why is that? And I told him the same thing that I just told you. Because Republicans are weak. They could care less. He said to me, he goes, you got a lot of balls wrapping your truck like that, you know? I said, no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm just not a lazy, apathetic, complacent pile of trash Republican. I stand for what I stand for. I walk the walk and I talk the talk. I do them both. And I take care of whatever consequences come my way. I accept them or I beat them and move on. That isn't balls. That isn't courage. That's just what you should be doing. Balls and courage is driving through a No Kings protest with your 16-year-old daughter with that truck, when they could easily throw a rock through the windshield and kill one of you. That's a little bit of balls. Balls is standing up to people who say shit to you in public, and they've got used to calling you a rapist or a racist or a pedophile or a bigot or some kind of something for the last 10 years, and we just let it go because we're bigger than them. Sometimes you got to get down and dirty and get in the gutter with these people. And unfortunately, the 1,500 to 2,000 people that we're missing aren't gone because of one bad show or another. They're gone because they don't feel like they should have to be involved 24/7. And I get it. I get it. Ignorance is bliss, right? Isn't that the same reason that guy wanted to go back into the Matrix, Eli? I want to eat a juicy steak again. I want to live in a nice high-rise hotel again. I want to have money again. I want to feel good and joy again. So I'm going to plug myself into this machine and basically go into a coma and live a pretend life.
Damn, Skippy. Hit that nail right on its head. Sad.
It is sad. And it pisses me off more than anything. We're going to switch gears here quick, though. I want to play this video of Mike Johnson talking about the Department of Homeland Security and the funding the Democrats are holding from it. On purpose, by the way.
With their radical ideology and the mess that President Trump and the Republicans are working in earnest to clean up so we can save American lives and protect the homeland. And now we have, look, DHS is not just ICE and CBP, okay? It's so many agencies responsible for keeping us safe. You're talking about the Coast Guard, you're talking about FEMA, our cybersecurity infrastructure, our counterterrorism coordination, all of that is at stake right now, and the Democrats are going to vote tomorrow not to fund those operations. Just think of that. Massive mission-critical functions, especially right now. And the military action in Iran makes it all more urgent and crucial to have a fully funded, fully staffed DHS across all its departments. They cannot argue otherwise. It's madness. As members of this body, our first and most basic duty is to ensure the safety of American citizens. Maybe that's why they sat through that line at the State of the Union. They're more interested in protecting illegal aliens. They see that as their first responsibility. There's no other way to explain this.
He's not wrong.
If they ever want to correct the impression that their party prioritizes the welfare of illegal aliens over the welfare of American citizens, tomorrow would be a great place to start. But they, again, have sent out a whip notice instructing Democrats to vote down Homeland Security funding. I got to drop the mic right here and walk out of this room. That's all you need to know. From Democrats with their radical ideology. And
he's not wrong in what he's saying. And I got to be honest with you, Mike Johnson hasn't been too much of a rhino lately, so I'm not going to go in on Mike Johnson right now. He's actually been doing the job he's supposed to be doing. Outside of getting rid of Ilhan Omar and censuring people, he should be doing that. I will say that. But it's John Thune who's the biggest thorn in the side of the Republicans. But I don't like Mike Johnson. I don't like Steve Scalise. Emmer's not that bad. Tom Emmer's behind him there. He's not that bad. He's all right. But anytime you see these establishment Republicans standing up there, like when John Thune stands up there with Langford and these other walking dead zombies, they're all scumbags. They really all are. They would never allow a real person like Tim Burchett to be Speaker of the House. the elite Republican GOP. They would never allow somebody like, who else could there be? They would never allow a Byron Donalds or an Anna Paulina Luna or a Tim Burchett or hell, they wouldn't even allow Clay Higgins, and he's even got some rhino to him once in a while. They wouldn't even allow him. They wouldn't even allow Chip Roy, and he's right there with the DeSantis rhino establishment. They wouldn't even allow him. You've got to be an ultra dipshit to be put in that position, which pretty much all of them are, all the time. But I'll give Mike Johnson credit. He's been doing Donald Trump's bidding lately, and that's exactly what he should be doing because neither of these people could tell their ass from their elbows. Now, when we come back, we're going to get into Tim Walz a little bit and the grilling that he took on Capitol Hill yesterday, which may or may not, I don't know, may or may not lead to some criminal action. Probably not. Who knows? I don't even know anymore. I report the news, folks, and I say what needs to be done. From anything beyond that, I'm just a guy trying to get a nut, like a squirrel. Not that kind of nut. Come on, people. Get your minds out of the gutter. Now, I want to thank donewithdebt.com for being a proud sponsor of Lfa TV, knowing how I speak, knowing how I talk. If you've got high credit card debt, if you've got unsecured personal loans, if you've got high interest anything, and you're just paying your credit card debt or your high interest loans off just to be able to make it from one day to the next, but you don't have any extra money, Done With Debt's going to help you out on that. They're not going to destroy your credit or even have you open up another loan to do it either. Speak to a trained debt professional today by going to donewithdebt.com or going to 888-322-1054. That's 888-322-1054 today. Fill out the questionnaire there on the right side, and somebody will get back to you. They're good people there. I used them personally. I know other people in this chat who use them as well, and they will specialize in resolving that debt today. That is donewithdebt.com or 888-322-1054 today. Okay? One more thing that I want you guys to do for me here. Now, this is going to be a big one. I'm actually going to copy this link address here, and I'm going to end up putting this in the live chat for you right now, okay? I want everybody in here. This is a safe link, okay? Everybody who clicks this link, they're just trying to drive traffic to some information about healthcare and Medicare out there. Now, these are people that I work with, I've partnered with. It's one of those things where you sign up for a free course, or you go and you take a poll, and we get paid for it, okay? It's no money from you. There's no commitment from you. I'm going to put this in the live chat right now. I want you all to click this link, okay? I'm going to pin it just for a second. You may not see a lot of the chat. It may be covered by what's pinned, but I'd like you all to click this right now. And what this is, I'll pull it up here for you right here on the side. This is a very, very, very important information about the Medicare Advantage squeeze before seniors end up paying the price. Okay, this is another way to get Donald Trump to listen to what we say. This is another way to get Washington to listen to what we say as well. And all you guys got to do is click that link right there. Democrats want Medicare Advantage gutted so they can push their socialist healthcare agenda. So I wanted to share this article with you guys that explains the price that Americans would pay and call on Washington to protect seniors today. Okay? This is part of a paid partnership with these guys that I have. It brings me 70 cents every time you guys click it. I'm going to be fully transparent with you. But it is a very safe link to click, and I want you guys to read through this, okay? Especially if you're a senior, especially if you're on Medicare, all right? And Tim Gustafson would approve of this message as well. So click that link in the live chat. I will unpin it now. I just wanted to make sure you guys had it. Let's go ahead and unpin this now. There you go, okay? Thank you guys very much. We appreciate you on that one, all right? Now let's get back to this. Tim Walz. He was grilled yesterday on Capitol Hill by Jim Jordan, James Comer, and the rest. Now, while I've lost a lot of respect for people like Jim Jordan, for a lot of respect for people like James Comer, I do, however, respect their line of questioning and their grilling with Tim Walz yesterday. I'm glad they got him on record. I'm glad they've got him under oath, because whatever happens with Tim Walz and with Keith Ellison, this kind of stuff needs to happen as a step-by-step process to get us there. And I want to thank each and every one of you who clicked that in there. Somebody said they missed it. I'm going to put it back in right now for you, okay? I'll put it back in for you. There you go. There you go. Grab it again. Again, click it, read it later. I'll also put it in the lower comment section so it's there for life. All right? There you go. Okay. Let's get into Jim Jordan questioning, or I should say, grilling Tim Walz and Keith Ellison yesterday. Here we go.
Why didn't you tell the truth about why you restarted the payments?
Well, Chairman, we did tell you. And Feeding Our Future grew because of the pandemic. And
I didn't ask that question. I said, why didn't you tell the truth about why you restarted the payments? The payments stopped because there were concerns, obviously. It wouldn't stop the payments. Then they're restarted a month later. What was the reason for restarting the payments?
My understanding was the agency believed that the court had required them to make those payments.
And that was false, wasn't it? You repeated that. You said that, didn't you? You said that's why the reason. You said the reason you restarted is because the court ordered you to do so. Is that right?
I don't believe that is settled yet, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, I think it is, because the court did something that I don't know if I've ever seen it. They issued a statement saying you were wrong in what you were saying. This is from the court. It says, Feeding Our Future versus Minnesota Department of Education, correcting reports and statements by Governor Tim Walz concerning orders issued by the court.
So are you lying, or are
Here's
the
what
court?
The judge says. Governor Tim Walz told the media that the Minnesota Department of Education attempted in payments to FOF because of possible fraud, but that Judge Guthman ordered payments to continue in April 2021. Next sentence. That is false. So you said something that wasn't true. He further states this, Judge Guthman, the court says this, Judge Guthman never ordered the Department of Education to resume payments to Feeding Our Future in April 2021 or at any other time. So I want to know, why didn't you tell the truth?
Congressman, the attorneys at the Department of Education interpreted that differently. Both of those judges are no longer on the bench, and I think that interpretation.
The very first sentence. The first 7 words. This is not some unnamed source talking to the New York Times. This is not some anonymous source talking to whatever your Minnesota Star Tribune or whatever your paper is. This is the court speaking. First sentence, first 7 words. Due to inaccurate statements by the governor, Ramsey County District Court judge has issued and authorized this following news release. That's pretty straightforward. So the court's lying?
I can't tell you, Congressman, but the interpretation was
lying. Somebody's lying, because you can't say the court ordered you to restart the payments, and then the court says we didn't order you to restart the payments. So either you're lying or the court's lying. And I'm just asking you, which one is it?
I just simply know what the attorneys at the agency believed, that it was a misinterpretation. And I would note that those payments.
Could it be you were trying to hide behind the court, Governor? Could that maybe be the reason why you issued the statements you did and why the court had to do something you never see done before? They issue a press statement saying you're wrong. The governor is wrong. His statement is, their words, not mine, false. Could that be the reason?
Look at him.
That was not the interpretation of the attorneys. And you know, court work, you can appeal those, Congressman, as you well know. I'm sure
is it all about politics, Governor?
No, it's about taking care of our people, which Minnesota does better than anyone else.
$3 million. The behavioral intervention program went from $3 million to $400 million in 5 years. The housing stabilization went from $2.6 million to $104 million. The integrated community supports went from $4.6 million.
What a liar. Did you see him? He's like, I don't know. This is the guy that said that he was a combat veteran who picked up arms and took them into battle, which then he was called out by his own platoon, his own battalion. Imagine that, Eli. Imagine the embarrassment. Like you and I, we hold like our military men and women in very high regard. Like to you and I, it's a salute no matter what, right? unless they're in uniform acting, as former soldiers acting ridiculous in D.C. But we're talking about our active military and our proud veterans. They all deserve a salute, right? Imagine your own group of people in your own battalion all coming out as you're the governor of a state saying, you're a liar, shame on you, you never picked up arms and went into war. Imagine that embarrassment that you would have. But I think this guy's incapable of embarrassment.
Oh, yeah, he's I don't know, I'd say puppet, I'd say robot. He doesn't seem to have any soul behind his eyes. He just does. He doesn't think. He just does. And usually what he's told.
Absolutely. This moment where Byron Donalds was grilling him, I thought was amazing too. Amazing how Byron was able to keep the composure and make this guy look like a complete buffoon. Oh, hold on. Get some volume on that here. Sorry about that, folks. Here we go.
Allegations. Not me specifically, that they're handled internally in the investigation. It happens every day.
Who was notified, Governor Walz?
The agencies do their work, the commissioners, and then if someone in my office was notified, they let me know. As governor, I make, 50 decisions a day. I said I did this job for 12 years. I make more decisions in a day.
Governor Walz.
So someone was maybe notified, but the agencies are the ones that take the action.
May I ask the next question?
May I?
We have it under sworn testimony in the Oversight Committee that your former chief of staff was notified directly by these various commissioners about the fraud in Minnesota.
That could be correct.
So are you saying that your chief of staff didn't notify you?
I'm saying I don't recall whether he did at that time or not, but we took action. So I'm assuming when we put our budgets together based on that, we put a package together for that legislative session.
Was your office notified of these fraud allegations?
Not me specifically, that they're handled internally in the investigation. It happens every day.
Who was notified, Governor Walz?
The agencies do their work, the commissioners, and then if someone in my office was notified, they let me know. As governor, I make...
So here's what needs to happen, folks. I think everybody needs to know. I think everybody already knows. Excuse me. Pam Bondi needs to go 2 months ago. In actuality, she should have never been nominated and confirmed. And I want to know, was it Susie Wiles? Who was it that told President Trump that Pam Bondi was going to do the damn job, unlike Jeff Sessions, unlike Bill Barr? Who said Pam Bondi was the person for the job? Because she's not done shit. As a matter of fact, she's done everything to help the Democrats. It's almost like when she went after Letitia James and James Comey, she did it in a way that she knew was going to give them a way out. It's almost like when she is constantly referred by the Judiciary Committee or the Oversight Committee for criminal charges, it almost seems like she does everything she can to either not bring them or give these people a way out legally, a loophole to get out of it. Tim Walz, everybody in the Biden administration, people that ran the agencies in the Biden administration, congressmen and senators have all been referred by this committee and by the other committees for criminal referral, and nothing has happened. So maybe you're right, Donald Trump. Maybe Ken Paxton says this. Okay, you know what? Go ahead, endorse John Cornyn. Go ahead, do your thing. But I'm not dropping out unless you get rid of Pam Bondi and make me the Attorney General. I'll take that one. I'll take a John Cornyn to get the filibuster gone in order to put Ken Paxton in the seat of Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi is the most worthless person in this administration. Does everybody at least agree on that? Does everybody agree on that? Because the problem here is that every one of these people that are grilling Tim Walz want accountability in Minnesota. We've seen no criminal accountability in Minnesota. Not to Keith Ellison, not to Ilhan Omar, not to Tim Walz, not to Tim Walz's rubber tire-smelling wife. The only accountability that we've seen is with like 90 Somalians that we don't know the names of. But yes, they were involved in the fraud. But I want the top people involved with the fraud. Start there. You don't even have to drain the swamp in D.C. Drain the swamp in Minnesota, and that'll leave me happy for a couple months. Is she not the biggest disappointment on earth, Pam Bondi? I think everybody should spam Bondi today with resign, you worthless person. Resign, you worthless wench. Quit, you scumbag. You're not doing anything. Donald Trump needs to hear us loud and clear when it comes to endorsements and nominations. Here is Pat Fallon roasting
Governor,
Tim Walz.
on September 16th, 2025, did you announce your re-election bid?
Pardon me?
On September 16th, last year, did you
I don't
announce
know the
it?
exact date.
In September, roughly the fall last year, did you announce you're running for governor again?
Yeah. I believe that's correct.
Okay. And then I think you said in your quote here, we've made historic progress, but we're not done yet. And then just 3.5 months later, on January 5th, you dropped out. I got to ask you why. I mean, were you tired of making historic progress?
No, Congressman, I think I've done the job for 2 terms, and I said talking with my family, and I said I want to focus on doing the job, not running.
Didn't have anything to do with this epic, historic, awful fraud?
It has everything to do with trying to do the job right for Minnesota.
The facts are your leadership, and really your lack of leadership, has been responsible for one of the largest ripoffs of the American taxpayer in our history. And you traded, I believe, political expediency, the currency of political expediency, for your integrity. And, you know, Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you know this, but it's been widely reported that in 2008, when Barack Obama was choosing his vice presidential candidate, he had 3 criteria. He wanted to make sure he picked somebody that wasn't as smart as him and had less talent and charisma and couldn't possibly outshine him, so he picked Joe Biden. And then Joe Biden in 2020 used the exact same criteria. He wanted to make sure he picked somebody who wasn't as smart as him, had less talent and charisma, and wouldn't outshine him, and he picked Kamala Harris. And then in 2024, Governor, I think it's very evident why Kamala Harris picked you. The talent pool,
I wouldn't
Mr.
know,
Chairman,
Congressman.
Mr. Chairman, the talent pool isn't just shallow, brother. We have hit the shore, and I yield back.
It's like questioning a child who doesn't know how to respond properly. Tim Walz. Is that how come you resigned? Or is that how come you dropped out of the race because of your historic gains and your greatness that you were achieving? No, I think I did a good job. I see a wascally wabbit. Oh, I see a wascally wabbit, says Elmer Fudd. I see a wascally wabbit up in Minnesota. And that wascally wabbit is Ilhan Omar, Keith Ellison, Tim Walz. Dunce cap douchebags. And while I have not a high level of respect for Nancy Mace, I do like what she did yesterday with Tim Walz. I very much dislike Tim Walz far more than I dislike Nancy Mace.
Spent on autism in Minnesota in 2017, Governor?
I don't have those numbers in front of me, Congresswoman.
Did you prepare for this hearing today? Did you do any preparation
I take
for this
Congress
hearing today?
seriously.
And you've seen the numbers about autism fraud in Minnesota. So we're going to do some Minnesota math with you today, okay? Are you ready? How much money was spent on 2017 for autism in Minnesota? How much?
I don't know. I wasn't the governor.
Okay. Did you not just say that you prepared for this hearing today? $1 million, okay? A quick Google search or using your AI could tell you $1 million was spent. How much money was spent on autism in Minnesota in 2024?
I don't have the number in front of me. As
Were you governor in 2024?
I was, but I'm not the
Okay,
head
so
of
your
HHS.
excuse before that you didn't know what 2017 autism numbers were because you were not governor, and today you can't answer the numbers about 2024 as governor.
Eli, here it is again, right? I do not have those numbers in front of me. I do not know the answer to that. I'm not sure. I'm not aware. I'm uncertain. That's under investigation. I can't answer that question. Again, there should be a law made that if you are brought in front of Congress and you can't answer at least basic questions about the job that you do, you should be held in contempt, put in the jail cells down below Congress, the hearing rooms, and you should stay there until you answer them.
Damn Skippy, if you could all see, every time that a-hole deflects a question. If Jeremy cut over to me, you guys would be seeing me just throw my hands up. Because what is the point? What's the point of this? What's the point of this? If all they have to do is sit there, I don't have those numbers in front of me. I'm not sure about that. I can't remember. What do you know, you asshole?
Yeah, the only point to it I could see, Eli, is A, getting him on the record, but B, if we had a DOJ that would do something about it. If we had a DOJ that would say, you lied under oath, or you, okay, well, we now know based on your answer what we should go after, what we should look into, what we should investigate, how we should come after you next. What strategy should we use? Do we switch it up? Do we continue down the same strategy? And what's the goal? To put these criminals in jail. That would be nice. Then it would be a lot more fun, these theatrics.
Governor, and you still said you prepared for this hearing today. It's unbelievable. $343 million was spent in 2024. What percent increase is that from 1 million to 343 million? What percentage increase is that?
I'm not here to be your prop. Go ahead and tell me.
Are you governor of Minnesota or not?
Yes, I am. I'm not.
Well,
I'm
when
not
I'm
a prop
governor of
for a
South
member of
Carolina,
Congress.
you can sure as hell bet that I'm going to know the math. The math is 34,200% increase, an increase of 343 times what it was in this time period. Do you know the number of children in Minnesota?
I know that Minnesota ranked as a top 3 state for children in the last year.
What is the total population in Minnesota?
5.7 million.
Okay. What is the total population of children in Minnesota?
I don't have the number in front of me right now.
Are you governor of Minnesota?
I know 400,000 were cut out of health care last
Okay,
week by
that's
the
not-
actions you made.
Are you governor of Minnesota?
I am.
And you don't know the number of children
I
residing
don't have
in
the
Minnesota?
specific number. It's 5.7 million.
That's your total
What is
population.
your age? What is the age? 0 to 5? 0 to 19?
You have approximately 1.2 million children in Minnesota.
What
I'm not
age?
even governor of South Carolina. Our population in South Carolina is 5.5 million. We have approximately 1.1 million children under the age of 18 in my home state of South Carolina, okay? As governor, I expect you to know this information. Thank God you're not vice president of the United States. Do you know approximately how many children in Minnesota are autistic or on the spectrum?
No, I don't have that number.
I don't know anything. I
Well,
don't know
if
anything.
you take the CDC's, roughly
I don't know
136 kids are on the spectrum. We're talking about approximately 33,000 kids. In South Carolina, it's about 31,000 or so. What is, do you know what this is per child, spending-wise, in the fraud for autistic kids in Minnesota?
Again, I'm not here to be your prop. Go ahead and tell us.
This isn't, is doing Minnesota math a prop? This is math. We're talking about fraud.
Minnesota ranks at the top. Where does South Carolina
money.
rank?
We're talking about money.
Where does
That
South
was
Carolina
supposed
children
to-
rank on healthiness?
These are my questions for you. It doesn't go the other way around unless we're debating on the debate stage. And we're not.
If you're asking questions about being governor, it does.
I'm asking you
When you're
questions
governor,
about
you can
being
come and
governor
tell
of
me.
Minnesota, which you can't answer. This
Look
is
at him laugh.
basic math. And you can't even answer.
not
Do you
here to
even
be your
care
prop.
about kids in Minnesota?
They rank near
Do
the
you
top
care?
in every category. My children are fed.
Do you
My
care about
children are
autistic
housed. My
children
children have
getting
health
the
care.
services they
Time out. Stop. You just said that your children were not fed. You just said that the federal government took 400,000 kids off of a program that fed them. So guess what? That means your kids are not fed. That means your kids were relying on my taxpayer dollars in Iowa, living in Iowa. Eli's taxpayer dollars living in Vermont. Sean and Hannah's taxpayer dollars down in Tennessee. Zach and Will's taxpayer dollars over in Texas. Paul Herrell's taxpayer dollars down in Arkansas. Kevin Smith's taxpayer dollars up in New York. Jack Danger and Jay Gatling's taxpayer dollars up in New York. Isn't that weird? You know, Eli, he knew some things, like my kids rate number 1. Rah, 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 rah. How do you not know anything else then? My kids are fed. Well, 400,000 of them aren't. Now. And whose kids are they? Are they Somali's kids or are they America's kids? Because I'm curious. Here's Brandon Gill, forcing Tim Walz to admit he is responsible for the fraud in Minnesota.
Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses for taking the time to be here. Governor Walz, are you familiar with the early intensive developmental and behavioral intervention benefit?
I am, Congressman.
Got it. It provides services for autism patients. Is that right?
That is correct.
Got it. And when did you become governor?
In January of 2019.
In 2019. Okay. So using 2018 as a baseline, do you know what that program paid in Medicaid claims?
I do not, Congressman.
It's about $671,000. Do you know what that program paid in Medicaid claims in 2024?
I don't have the number in front of me.
$342 million. That's about a 500x increase over 6 years. Was there 500 times the number of autism patients in that time period?
I couldn't speak specifically to it, but I will say, Congressman, that
doesn't sound reasonable, right? You don't think there was a 500x increase in the number of autism patients in 6 years, right?
Correct, and that's why we ordered on-site visits starting back in 2024.
So we agree that doesn't sound reasonable. Would you also agree that a single taxpayer dollar wasted on fraud is a dollar too much to tolerate?
Yes.
Yep, and would you agree that as governor, ultimately you're responsible if tax dollars are defrauded?
Yes, I would agree.
Yep. Would you also agree that calling somebody racist is a serious accusation?
I just took him into
if they are racist?
Left field.
I'm asking you, is that a serious accusation to make about somebody?
Whether
I think it's just an observation of reality.
All right, well, let's go there. Is it racist for a government official to identify fraud?
No.
No. Is it Islamophobic?
Superman with his curl.
To identify fraud?
To identify fraud?
No, I don't believe it would be.
How come multiple whistleblowers have said that your administration told them not to say anything about widespread fraud across multiple agencies because doing so would be considered racist or Islamophobic?
I can't speak to it because it's not anything I would say.
Well, that's what your administration has said and has told whistleblowers, and as you just testified, the buck stops with you. That's what you stated in your statement whenever you announced you weren't running again. Are you familiar with Faye Bernstein?
Yes, I'm familiar with the name.
She's a Democrat, isn't she?
I wouldn't know that.
She stated publicly that she's a Democrat. She's only voted Democrat in her life. She's also stated publicly that she was retaliated against and called racist, and that her work responsibilities were diminished whenever she was highlighting fraud within your administration. Are you familiar with that?
I couldn't speak to
why do you think she would
allegation.
Why do you think she would say that?
I can't speak for what
you
she
have no
would
idea?
think. I do not.
You would agree that the tone in your administration comes from you ultimately, right?
The tone is that.
The tone of how you might deal with whistleblowers.
Right, and we protect them.
Wait, it doesn't sound like you're protecting them. We heard from Representative Kristen Robbins, quote, "We have dozens of credible whistleblower reports saying the exact same thing, that people were told not to say anything because they'd be called racist or Islamophobic or it would hurt the state." Do you think it's racist or Islamophobic to highlight and try to stop fraud?
It is not, and I certainly wouldn't
It's
know.
not, but that was the message your administration was sending to multiple whistleblowers.
I can't speak to that.
You can't speak to that. You don't want to speak to that, I think.
I have over 40,000
be
employees,
retaliated
Congressman.
against?
Pardon me?
Do you think whistleblowers campaign for trying to make leadership aware of illegal contracting practices? Why do you think that happened?
I can't speak to that, Congressman, because we don't do it.
You just don't. You don't know anything.
I do know that we have strong whistleblower protections, and I can't speak.
That's not what the whistleblowers are saying. According to another report, quote, "There's just a continuous effort to stifle you, to shut you up, and it's impossible to overcome." Your administration's response to whistleblowers has also been described as, quote, "nearly unbearable retaliation." We've heard claims that, quote, they've been denied vacations, promotions, and that it's hurt people's careers to speak out against fraud. Do you think that had something to do with the prevalence of fraud in your administration?
I can't speak to it, but it doesn't happen.
Are you going to take responsibility for this?
I supervise 40,000 employees. State agencies have their own.
You supervise a lot of employees, and as you have said, the buck stops with you. And your administration has treated whistleblowers like absolute dirt, and that's a big reason why we've seen so much of our hard-earned tax dollars defrauded.
Look, Congressman, I told you we have strong protections. We have an Office of Legislative Auditor.
This committee has spoken to nearly 30 whistleblowers,
and
most of which are current employees in your administration who have intimate knowledge of what's been going on, who have all stated that they've faced retaliation for calling out fraud.
I can't speak to them what they felt.
Time is up. I yield back.
Recognize Ms. Ansari.
Mr. Chairman,
Brandon Gill was flawless right there. He kept his composure. Even when he criticized him and said, "Do you know anything?" he gave him a nice little smile. So all Tim Walz has to do is go to D.C. when he's summoned, say, "I don't know. I don't have that information. I'm not privy to that. It's not how I see it. It's not how it was perceived. Don't have that information. Don't know that number. It's not how we treat people. We're the #1 state in the world. We're awesome. We're a gift from God. Everything I touch turns to gold. My wife is beautiful. She isn't crazy. She doesn't love the smell of burning tires. We didn't really care for the George Floyd protests," and just lie like that constantly. That's all he has to do? Then he gets his fat, stupid, bald ass back into a plane and flies back to Minnesota? Boy, we need the MyPillow guy. Where's the MyPillow guy when you need him? Where is he, Eli? Where's Mike Lindell? We need more Mike Lindell. I haven't seen much of him lately. Hopefully we see more of him, especially now. Because this guy is just, oh man, some people didn't get their ass beat as a teenager, and this guy was one of them.
You know what kind of country I wish we lived in is the type of country that, like I said, just does the right thing. I wish one of those people would have been like, you know what? No more questions. You didn't come prepared. You're jacking us around. You're a scumbag. You're a liar. You've declared stolen valor. You've helped fraud billions of dollars away from American people. Sergeant-at-Arms, or whatever the hell they call the cop in it, drag him out. Don't walk him out. Drag him out. Throw him in a cell. F you. Next. Who's next? Sit.
Somebody said, there's a campaign commercial right there for you. I don't know. I know nothing. Hi, I'm Tim Walz, and I don't know shit. Shouldn't that be the camp? I mean, it's not like he's up against anybody, but there should be a nationwide campaign to put this guy in prison. Where does the buck stop? Elin says break his arm too.
Dude, every time they tell a lie or they don't know the answer to a question, you break a finger. Now do you know the answer? You sure you don't know that answer? This is going to hurt.
Eli, you don't have any dreams of cutting people's skin off and wearing it or anything, do you? You kind of sound a little hopped up over there. You're not on cocaine. Hunter's not there, is he?
Took all my vitamins today. I think they're jacking me up. But, I just want justice. I want some justice just for once.
By the way, whatever happened to Hunter? Where the hell is he?
Yes, I know the answer to that question.
Where's Hunter?
Yes, I know the answer to that question.
Sorry, I had to play that over his voice. You didn't hear it, Eli, did you? I played this.
By the way, whatever happened to Hunter? Where the hell is he? Where's Hunter?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Maybe Mike Lindell needs to do some of that cocaine to get the energy to win. I don't know. Here's Keith Ellison, who also is guilty of quid pro quo and protecting Somalis for campaign donations. Do you remember when I played the audio for you where he admitted it? But yet, Pam Bondi isn't doing shit.
So you have the authority to lead your state's effort to respond to this massive fraud at the state level from within the healthcare realm where government money has been stolen at very, very high levels, unprecedented levels in your state. Are you leading that effort for the state of Minnesota? You're addressing it. Are you leading it? Are you leading the effort?
We are leading the effort to prosecute Medicaid fraud in Minnesota.
I'm not talking about Medicaid fraud. Don't hide behind that. You have the authority to prosecute anything criminally that the governor asks you to. And this thing is big. I'm giving you an opportunity, sir. Are you leading the criminal investigative effort into this massive fraud across the board in the healthcare spectrum in the state of Minnesota or not?
We are following the law. And
you are not leading. You're not leading. I'm going to say, Mr. Chairman, that the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota should resign.
I'm going to say it even harder, Clay Higgins. The Attorney General of the state of Minnesota should be walked out of that hearing in handcuffs by the FBI at the behest of the Department of Justice and the Attorney General who resides in that seat right now. Take his ass down to the gulag, process him in, fingerprint him, give him a mugshot, and throw his ass in a cell with Bubba for a couple days and see if he recalls anything then. What's wrong with that? Didn't they do that to January 6ers without due process? All the left screaming, where's our due process? Where's our due process? January 6ers got no due process for 4 fucking years. Can we break this guy's arm, put him in some handcuffs, take his ass down to the gulag, throw him in it, give him a bucket of piss, and let Bubba have his run with him? Can we do that? Bet he'd remember then. Bet he'd know then.
Who's hopped up now?
Yeah, who's on cocaine now?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
But that's what needs to happen. I bet you, if there was even a morsel of a chance that these people would not go home when they came to answer questions in front of Congress, I bet you their answers would be entirely different. Entirely different. Oh, did you prepare for this? I did prepare for this. Well, you might not leave, so you better say the right thing. R-Star says 8 balls for your love. Anybody who refers to cocaine as 8 balls, Eli, I know where they've been in their lives.
You know what they really ought to do is, what the heck's the name of that show on Netflix? Squid Game or Squid, where you do something wrong, you actually get really hurt or die. They ought to hook people up to a lie detector in these things. Tell the truth now. Tell the truth.
Oh, dude. Imagine lie detector test congressional hearings where you sit there and you're hooked up to a lie detector test the entire time. And whoever's asking the questions can go, when they see the light, that was a lie. Now you want to tell us the truth before we move on? Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time. He lied. Reclaiming my time. Every time you lie, I get 10 seconds added to my time. Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time. You lied. Reclaiming my time. Eli, maybe you just stupidly stumbled upon something great.
Stupidly, it's freaking ingenious, you a-hole.
Yeah, but usually your ideas are usually not genius. They're cut people's heads off if they don't do the things you want them to do. Very dictatory. Very, very, Stalin-y.
A, I have never suggested cutting anyone's head off, and B, check the chat, bros, if everybody agrees with Eli. It should be my show.
It's Brotato Chip, not Brosif. It's Brotato Chip. All right. Speaking of how bad the DOJ is, let's get through this story before we take a break. The Department of Justice Autopen case against Joe Biden and his aides have been closed by prosecutors in Judge Jeanine Pirro's D.C. U.S. Attorney Office. So there goes that. There goes that. Oh, wait till you hear why, though. The Justice Department's Autopen case against Joe Biden and his aides have been closed in the United States Attorney's Office, according to the New York Times and CBS. CBS had reported federal prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Jeanine Pirro's office are dropping a criminal probe into whether former President Joe Biden and his aides unlawfully used an Autopen to issue pardons. A person briefed on the matter told CBS. 2 sources confirmed the existence of the probe, with one telling CBS News that the matter has been since closed because prosecutors were never able to find a legal hook to be able to pursue matters further. Really? Now, ladies and gentlemen, for full disclosure, I'm not an attorney, and I do not have my law license. But I do have common sense, and I do know how to read. So, since the DOJ could not find the appropriate laws in order to take these guys down under, I figure I'd do their job for them. 18 U.S. Code 494, forgery of public records or writings. 18 U.S. Code 495, forgery of contracts, deeds, or powers of attorney. 18 U.S. Code 1018, false official certificates or writings. 18 U.S. Code 1001, false statements to the government. 18 U.S. Code 371, conspiracy to defraud the United States of America. 18 U.S. Code 1341 and 1343, mail fraud. Ooh. Oops. Oops. And 18 U.S. Code 912, impersonating a federal officer. I want to thank Steel Toe Morning Show just rating the stream. Everybody go follow Steel Toe Morning Show, and thank you, brother, for rating the stream. Appreciate that very much. So, I mean, again, I'm not an attorney, and I'm not a lawyer in any way. I don't have my license to practice law, but it was pretty simple to go get those statutes. Now, what the DOJ is saying is they didn't have enough meat on the bones to file any charges under those statutes. Really? Well, I bet if you go the way of Eli and take somebody in a room and break a few fingers, you'll get what you need real quick. Didn't they physically abuse the January 6ers? We know they did, actually. For a matter of fact, we know they did. So, I mean, again, we come back full circle, Eli, to Republicans are weak. And if it's the one thing that I'll ever be upset with Trump about is the fact that he lets his Republican administration be weak. If Trump was the DOJ, we'd have everything taken care of, wouldn't we? But he could put the person there that would do it. He has that power. If Trump was head of the FBI, we'd see a much stronger FBI. But Trump is only one man. I know he delegates, but sometimes he delegates like shit. And with Pam Bondi, he did delegate like absolute dog doo-doo. Spaghetti Cowboy said, Jeremy, I'm finally caught up with LFA due to life in general. You should try to get Brigitte Gabrielle on your show if possible. You know something? I actually did reach out to her one time. Maybe I'll reach out to her again. Thank you very much for letting me know that. Appreciate that. By the way, we're also simulcasting on YouTube. I wonder how long it's going to be before we're kicked off there. That's all right. Terry Lynn says, wow, Jeremy, you've really changed. Thank you. Thank you. I'm growing daily. Like you. Like you. Patty says, Paxton says he will not drop out. Would be awesome if Trump gets promises from Cornyn. Endorsement, Paxton wins over Cornyn, backfire power. You know, like I said, that could be the part. That could be what happens. That could be what happens. Terry Lynn says, I was just watching you on YouTube. Well, I'm glad you came over to Rumble. Appreciate it. Buddy, B-U-D-D-E, says, love LFA. RD Comp says, if Tim Walz was a Republican, he'd be locked up by now. Boy, he sure would. Rip says, God does extraordinary with ordinary. Sure does. Jeremy, Candace Taylor is open to coming back on your show. I chatted with her for a second last week. Let's help Georgia and Candace Taylor out. Hey, Candace, anytime she wants to come on the show, she's got my number. She's more than invited. Any day she wants to come on. And I'll read one more here. Bondi and Walz need to go ASAP. Not sure why Trump continues to keep these two around. Bondi has done nothing, a big zero. I agree 1,000%. 1,000%. Quick break here to talk about Fatty and Armra, and then we'll be right back. And no, I don't mean myself when we're talking about Fatty, folks. I'm talking about Fatty 15. Healthier hair and skin, a better metabolism, and a deep, deep sleep. Oh, along with, that tiny little C15 essential fatty acid that prolongs your life and slows down the aging process of your cells. Yeah, there's that too. That's exactly what it does. C15 is an essential fatty acid that your body needs to stay healthy, especially as you age. Fatty 15 is a science-backed, patented, award-winning, pure and vegan-friendly C15. And it's a way to get this daily with a 90-day starter kit. If it's your first time ordering it, you'll get $50 off the entire order. That's fatty15.com, 90-day starter kit for only $101. It's a little over $33 a day. Okay? fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. That's fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. Somebody just said they just took their Fatty 15. Who was that? Terry Sue said, just took my Fatty 15. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I always like to hear testimonies. And also, Armor Colostrum, folks. Another great way to get yourself some healthy lifestyle is by taking Armor Colostrum. And I know this because the 400 nutrients that are in Armor Colostrum, you don't get anywhere else in the world for a diet other than breastfeeding. And since pretty much all of us are out of that stage of our life right now, colostrum is the only way to get it. Armor Colostrum happens to be the leader in colostrum production and the company that gets the best reviews for the quickest results. 80% or more of the people who use this have very, very positive benefit reactions to this. They are getting regrowing hair like I did. They're getting rid of gut bloating like I did. They're getting rid of acid reflux like I did. Now, there are some benefits that I didn't see, but for the most part, I did see all of them. That is Armor Colostrum at tryarmor.com. And when you check out, use promo code Lfa Tv. It'll take $18 off your order if it's your first order, and you can be on your way to a healthier lifestyle with Armor Colostrum at tryarmor.com. Promo code LFA TV. One more time, that's tryarmor.com. Promo code LFA TV. I see we just got a bunch of people jumped into the live chat, so I thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. Before we come back to more breaking news, I would like to remind you that the price of meat is high still, and the price of coffee is high still. Unless you get your coffee from us.
In the long history of the world, the struggle to survive has been a constant. The human spirit has been frequently tested. Every man has had his own struggle. Every man has made sacrifices. And every man has been pushed beyond their limits. Survival is crucial. The desire to be prepared has never wavered. Generations that came before us realized the importance of gaining every advantage. How you face adversity could change your life. Success depends on it. History is defined by it. Our spirit is fueled by it. Our strength comes in many forms. The strength to fight, the strength to overcome, the strength to believe, the strength to win, the strength to rise. Rise up, coffee. Rise up to meet your challenge.
Now, the guy that was doing the whittling there, Eli, people don't know it, but the guy that was sitting there doing that whittling, a lot of people thought that was me. That wasn't me. The guy's name is Tom, and he's actually the one that is helping us make the cartoon, the LFA Kids Weekly. So, a little tidbit there, a little bit of inside information there for you. Great guy, by the way. He does a great job. Eli, what's the name of his business where people can go and get work done if they want commercials or things like that done?
TNT Ltd Productions. Thomas Pimentel.
TNT Ltd Productions?
LTD Limited.
Yeah. And he also made the Armor of God video that me and Dave Bray did as well. So, anyway, moving on. Yes, Tom is awesome. He's great. All right, now we're going to get into this. And I was hoping that most people would wait for this part of the show so they could get some real information here about why we're doing what we're doing. All right? November 1979. This was 3 months after I was born. August, September, October, November. 3 months after I was born. August of 1979, I was born. November of 1979, Iranian students, backed by the regime, seized the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, taking 66 American hostages in a 444-day standoff. April of 1983, the Islamic Jihad, an Iran-backed terrorist group, carried out a suicide car bombing at the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, killing 17 Americans. October of 1983, Iran-backed Hezbollah terrorists killed 241 U.S. military personnel, including 220 U.S. Marines and 21 other service personnel, in a truck bombing at a Marine compound in Beirut. March of 1984, Iran-backed Islamic Jihad terrorists kidnapped CIA Station Chief William Buckley on his way to work in Beirut, ultimately killing him the following year. September of 1984, Iran-backed Hezbollah terrorists killed 23 innocent people, including 2 American service members, in a car bomb attack at a U.S. embassy annex in Beirut. December of 1984, Iran-backed Hezbollah terrorists hijacked Kuwait Airways Flight 221 en route to Pakistan, diverting it to Tehran, where they brutally tortured and killed 2 American officials. June of 1985, Iran-backed Hezbollah terrorists hijacked TWA Flight 847 on its way from Athens to Rome, torturing a U.S. Navy diver before shooting him point blank in the head and tossing his body into the Beirut airport tarmac. July of 1989, Iran-backed Hezbollah terrorists killed U.S. Marine Colonel William Higgins after kidnapping him the previous year while serving with a United Nations peacekeeping force in Lebanon. April of 1995, Iran-backed Islamic Jihad terrorists killed 8 people, including 1 American citizen, in a car bomb in Gaza. August 1995, Iran-backed Hamas suicide bomber blew up a bus in Jerusalem, killing an American and 3 other passengers and wounding more than 100, some for life. February 1996, an Iran-backed Hamas suicide bomber blew up another bus in Jerusalem, killing 3 more Americans and wounding 3 other Americans. Shall I stop or keep going? Let's keep going. March of 1996, a suicide bomber linked to the Iran-backed Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorist groups killed 20 people, including 2 more Americans, in a suicide bombing at the Tel Aviv shopping center. May of 1996, Iran-backed terrorists killed American-Israeli dual citizen and wounded another American citizen in the West Bank. Shall I stop? I can keep going. Let's keep going. June of 1996, Iran-backed Hezbollah al-Hijaz terrorist killed 19 U.S. airmen and wounded nearly 500 others in a truck bombing at a U.S. Air Force house complex in Saudi Arabia. September of 1997, the year I graduated, an Iran-backed Hamas suicide bomber blew themselves up in a shopping mall in Jerusalem, killing an American citizen and wounding 7 other American citizens. August of 1998, Al-Qaeda suicide bombers facilitated by Iran backed Hezbollah simultaneously bombed U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, killing 224 people, including a dozen more American citizens. Shall I stop or keep going? Keep going? Okay. August 2001, an Iran-backed Hamas terrorist blew up a Jerusalem pizzeria, killing 3 more Americans. January of 2002, an Iran-backed Al-Aqsa Martyr Brigade terrorist killed an American-Israeli dual citizen in the West Bank. July of 2002, an Iran-backed Hamas terrorist killed 5 more Americans in a bombing at Hebrew University in Jerusalem. June of 2003, an Iran-backed Hamas suicide bomber killed 17 people, including an American citizen, on a bus. In October of 2003, Iran-backed Popular Resistance Committee terrorists killed 3 U.S. diplomat personnel in the bombing in Gaza. And we're only up to 2003, folks. We're only up to 2003. Whose war is this? Whose war is this? Are we doing Israel's bidding here? Or are we getting back finally for all the Americans that have been killed? Because we're up to about 400 right now. Would you like to keep going? 2003 to 2011, Iran-backed militia killed at least 603 U.S. troops in Iraq. Roughly 1 of every 6 American combat fatalities in Iraq. Okay, now we're up to over 1,000. How about this one? August 2006, Iran-backed Hezbollah terrorists killed an American citizen and an Israeli Defense Force soldier, Michael Levin, during the Second Lebanon War. The only American to die in that conflict. Still up over 1,000. How about January of 2007? A dozen men affiliated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps force killed 5 U.S. soldiers and wounded 3 others in Kabbalah. I could keep going. I could keep going every year until 2025. Most recently, Iran-backed militias attacked at least 3 U.S. embassies in Syria and 2 U.S. bases in Iraq. November of 2024, an Iranian national and IRGC asset was charged for plotting to assassinate President Trump. Well, how about that? Plotting to assassinate our president? Between October of 2003 and November in 2024, Iran and its proxies conducted more than 180 attacks against U.S. forces in the Middle East, wounding more than 180 U.S. service members and killing 3 Americans. And I could just go all the way back until we stopped in 2006. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the point I'm trying to make is here. All those people out there saying, I don't want to go and fight Israel's war, have no clue what the F they are talking about. I would ask this to the idiots of the world. How many people, how many U.S. soldiers and citizens has Iran killed in the last 26 years alone? Whose war is this? Is it Israel's war, as these dipshits would like you to believe? Or is it the world's war and America's settling a score? I say the latter. Absolutely say the latter. Now, because we respect our servicemen and women here and what they do for this country, the Pentagon has released names of the 5th and 6th U.S. service members killed in Operation Epic Fury. Major Jeffrey O'Brien, 45 years old, of Indianola, Iowa, died on March 1st, 2026, in Kuwait, when an unmanned aircraft attacked and killed him. Chief Warrant Officer Robert M. Marzin, 54, Sacramento, California, was at the scene of an incident on March 1st, 2026 in Kuwait, same place, and is believed to be an individual who perished at the scene. And that adds to all the folks that we talked about yesterday. Captain Cody Cork, Sergeant First Class Nicole Armour, Sergeant First Class Noah Teachins, Sergeant Declan Cody. And most of these people were serving in Iowa. And for them, we salute and we say thank you for your service. Not those people dressing up in their former uniforms to go to D.C. and complain about freeing Palestine. Trump fan says, does this show go till 2? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. See, we still got some people watching over there on YouTube, about 15 people. We haven't been on YouTube in years, so we're just trying to reach out and bring truth to as many people as we can. Now, if you want to join the cool kids table, you can come over here to Rumble. That's where the cool kids are. Yesterday, the Senate Democrats tried to force a vote to stifle President Trump's war power abilities, and that failed. Didn't even have to go to the House of Representatives. We knew that was going to happen. War powers resolution to restrain President Trump's action in Iran failed in the Senate in a 47-53 vote. So, who voted for and who voted against? That's the question, right? Who voted for and who voted against? GOP Senator Rand Paul broke ranks and voted to restrict President Trump. Remember when Donald Trump said, I haven't made fun of you yet, and there's plenty of subject matter to do so. I think maybe now's the time. Rand Paul is an insufferable scumbag. Even Democrat Senator John Fetterman voted with the Republicans to not block, the war power resolutions. Even Senator John Fetterman voted with us, and Rand Paul had to go vote with the Democrats. Only Republican to advance the measure. Even Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. Scum. Rand Paul sucks. He absolutely sucks. He absolutely sucks. But even Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, who are scum, voted with us because they know that they've got primaries coming up and they don't want to lose. Let's stay on this topic of Iran real quick. Did everybody here see the epic beat down that Caroline Leavitt gave to Caitlin Collins yesterday? Sit right back and enjoy this show, or this clip, and get your popcorn ready. You're going to love this one.
Was complaining that it was front page news about these 6 service members who were killed.
That's not what the secretary said, Caitlin, and that's not what the secretary meant, and you know it. You know you are being disingenuous. We've never had a secretary of defense who cares more.
Drones get through or tragic things happen. It's front page news. I get it. The press only wants to make the president look bad.
Yeah,
As you know, we cover the deaths of U.S. service members under every president.
The press does only want to make the president look bad. That's a fact. Especially you. No, listen to me. Especially you and especially CNN. And the Secretary of Defense cares deeply about our war fighters and our men and women in uniform. He travels all across this country to meet with them, to connect with them, and your network has hardly ever probably reported on that. You also had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Chairman Kane, who's a brave patriot, standing alongside the secretary at the Pentagon this morning, again expressing his condolences to these families. And I just told you that the President of the United States will be attending their dignified transfer. So please,
That's not making the president look bad. That's showcasing that.
We expect you to cover that as you should. We expect you to cover that as you should, Caitlin. But you and your network know that you take every single thing this administration says and tries to use it to make the president look bad. That is an objectable fact.
I don't think covering troop deaths is trying to make the
if you're trying to argue right now that CNN's overwhelming coverage is not negative of President Donald Trump, I think the American people would tend to agree, and your ratings would tend to disagree with that as well.
That's the kind of grit we need in the Department of Justice. And Eli, it always comes back to what you and I always talk about. Yank these people's ability to be there, yank their FCC licenses, kick them the F out of the room, and put people in there who are going to report on the truth. And by the way, I wouldn't, if I was in there, if Lfa Tv was in there daily and in the front row right there where Caitlin Collins is, yes, there would be some questions that favor MAGA. But there would also be questions like this. Why does the president feel that sometimes he can go against the will of the people who voted him in and endorse scumbags like Lindsey Graham and John Cornyn? Why not just do what's right all the time? I would ask that question. If I was there during COVID, I would have said, can we stop with the 15 days to slow the spread? It's a virus. My wife, whom is not Dr. Fauci or Dr. Birx, but went through school enough to know that a virus has to run its course, said it on day one. Are you people not that smart? We wouldn't soft lob questions, but we would ask questions that matter, and we would give honor and respect when due. Eli.
I completely agree, and I just wanted to say I'm so utterly sick and tired of seeing that stingy-faced, lying a-hole Caitlin Collins in there. And if you ever do, Jeremy, make it to the press room, I want you to sit where she sits, because I notice she always sits in the same spot. Get there early, sit where she sits. When she comes along, just go, no, on your bike, get out of here.
Unfortunately, you can't, because those seats are reserved for the bigger networks. I would be off to the left, or off to the Caroline Leavitt's right on the left side of the room in the new media seat, or standing up by the door. You notice that the same big corporations get those front seats. Push them to the back of the room, Rosa Parks their asses, and put real media up front and watch the way the world changes. Just watch. Just watch. That's all. Now, I want to play you something. A leftist influencer responds to a military wife's touching post with a vile message, hoping that her husband dies. This is your left, folks. This is who they always are. This is who they'll always be, which is why I have zero commitment to these people.
I'm a military spouse, and yesterday my post went viral. I was expecting hate comments, as one does. This country is so divided, so of course I expected some along the way. However, this one is disgusting. I wasn't even going to give this person the attention they were so badly seeking. However, I feel like that'd be doing a disservice to so many military members and military families. So I want the right people to do their thing. So go ahead and blow this up.
So what is the comment? Well, let's pull this up real quick. Here's the comment. Praying he doesn't make it home. You are on the wrong side of history. He won't be remembered as a hero. Wow. Praying he doesn't make it home. That's how, you know what it is, Eli? Remember the soldiers when they came home from Vietnam? Remember how the hippie granola left-wing Bernie Sanders protesters for the first time in the history of our country treated our soldiers? Remember? They hated them. Remember? Look back on any movie that portrays that time. I wasn't alive yet, but I remember learning about it in school, that the Vietnam soldiers that came home were treated the worst that you could possibly treat somebody. Spit on, kicked, assaulted, left for dead. A lot of them became alcoholics and got homeless because nobody would give them the time of day. Nobody would hire them. We're living that right now with the same leftists.
Yep, absolutely. It's disgusting. To my knowledge, I'm pretty sure Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise was about that.
Yep.
Wasn't Rambo? He was he was in the Vietnam War, came back, treated the exact same. Great representations of how they were treated like absolute SHIT.
Yep, and guess what? These same scumbags that are doing this to our troops today were doing it to them back then. Same people, same bullshit, same retards, doing it again today. Now, do you know why America will never, ever lose a conflict or a war as long as we have strong people like Donald Trump leading this country? It's because of our technology, the size of our military, the scope of our power. President Trump says peace through strength, right? Well, how many people have heard of the B-2 Spirit bomber, the $2 billion plane that looks like a bird on radar? Watch this.
Aircraft is wider than a football field, but on radar, it's the size of a bird, and it costs $2 billion each. The B-2 Spirit isn't just a plane, It's a flying nightmare that can take off from Missouri, bomb a target on the other side of the planet, and fly back home without ever being detected. Here's what makes this thing terrifying. 172-foot wingspan. That's wider than a football field. But its radar signature? 0.1 square meters, smaller than a pigeon. It can carry 40,000 pounds of bombs. That's 80 precision missiles, or 16 nuclear warheads.
Woo!
Only 80 pilots on Earth are qualified to fly it. In Kosovo, the B-2 flew 30-hour missions from Missouri to Serbia and back. Destroyed 33% of all enemy targets in the first 8 weeks. The enemy never saw it coming. It has a bed and a toilet on board. Because when you're invisible, you don't need to land. 7 wars. 0 shot down. Not by Russia's S-400. Not by anyone. This isn't a plane. It's a $2 billion ghost that can end a country from the other side of the world while you're eating breakfast. Follow for more insane military tech.
Woo! Yeah, and we've got multiple of those. Now, here's the kicker about that thing, though. That thing can be shot down by an F-15 if an F-15 sees it. It can be shot down by damn near anything. Why? Because it's not geared for a dogfight. It's not geared for a dogfight. It is geared to do exactly what that just said. Get in, destroy everything, and get out. That's what it's geared to do. Now, I want to give you guys a little, showdown here of what our military's actually capable of. Okay? And for that, we're going to pull this up on the screen for you. What you're about to see here, folks, is the size of our military compared to Iran. And we already know China said they're not helping, and Russia said they're not helping. So we're just crushing them. Iran has 551 military aircrafts. We have 13,034. Okay? Let's keep going here. Iran has 186 fighter jets. We have 1,790. Iran has 86 transport aircrafts. We have 918. Iran has 104 trainer aircrafts. We have 2,647. Iran has 129 helicopters. We have 5,843. Iran has 1,996 tanks. All of them, by the way, are old gen. We have 4,640, and most of them are new. Iran has 65,000 armored fighting vehicles. We have almost 400,000. And all of this, by the way, thanks to President Trump. Iran has 580 self-propelled artilleries. We have 671. That's a little closer. Iran had 101 in their naval fleet, not anymore. We've sunk pretty much all of it. And we have 440. They've sunk none. Still want to call this a war? And we haven't even gotten to the nitty-gritty yet. You still want to call this a war? And for all those people out there that are saying, how dare we send our sons and daughters to fight a war that isn't ours? How dare we fight and kill innocent women and children? Well, first of all, that's not our goal. But second of all, remember the Amalekites in the Bible? Why were they wiped out by Israel? Why did God implore Israel to wipe out tons and tons of different civilizations? Because all the way down to their children and their pets, they were not salvageable. What you're about to see is a little girl dressed in a full hijab, a full whatever this thing's called, learning to cut the head off of a doll so that she can grow up and do it to Christian Americans.
وسوف ترى بعطر الخيال What I have been trained to fight against is radical Islam. This ideology is willing to bring death and destruction.
They had this belief in this greater cause to return to the glory of Islam and install a caliphate.
They teach them to murder Jews and Christians, infidels.
They believe America, Western values, they must be destroyed.
That's what we're fighting against. We are freeing women and children from having to live a lifestyle where they're forced to learn this. So any of you people out there that are railing against the U.S. troops for going over there and fighting this evil and saying they're dying for Israel, like you know what I posted on Facebook yesterday, Eli? I posted this. Imagine being so America first that you're crying daily online like a little girl because we're going and killing people that scream death to America and kill Americans. Oh, imagine you're that America first, huh? Retards.
Yeah, absolutely. And those scumbag leftists do the same over here. America's a horrible place, then leave. They ought to be forced out of the country. Unless you're flying the flag of the country you're in, get the f*** out of here.
Yep, absolutely. And here's my invitation, okay? Hey, Ryan. Hey, Owen. Hey, Tucker. Anyone. Will anybody take me up on this challenge? Let's find out how bad Iran is to Israel. I will pay, personally. I won't even raise the money. I'll give you my own money out of my own paycheck. I will buy a round-trip flight for you, and I will pay for your hotel to Israel and then to Iran. You're going to have to go to Israel first, though, because I don't think you're going to make it out of Iran. I will pay for you to go and take a Bible and stand in the center of Jerusalem and preach the words and the gospel of Jesus Christ. And then when you return home, I will then pay for you. Actually, don't even return home. I will pay for you to leave Israel and fly right over to Iran. And I want you to do the same exact thing, but this time, instead of standing in the middle of Jerusalem, I want you to stand in the middle of Tehran. And I want you to preach the words of Jesus and the gospel of Yeshua in the middle of Tehran. That's what I want you to do. And then when you come home, if you come home, I want you to tell me which place was worse preaching the teachings of Jesus. Drew Hernandez too, all of you, anyone out there. You can all take me up on the challenge. I will go completely hungry and I'll pay my entire salary for a month to get you guys over there. And I want you to do this experiment so we can find out who's really worse. Is it Israel or is it Iran? Claire says, if you come home, yeah, because they're not making it out of Iran. That's why I'm saying that. They'll be killed in Iran. They'll be killed in Tehran. Absolutely killed. They won't make it out alive. So, but I want these people to put their money where their mouth is, Eli. The Dave Smiths, the Drew Hernandezes, the Ryan Mattis, the Owen Schroyers, the Hodge twins, all of them. And I know that most of those guys probably have more money than me, but this is going to prove your point. Take a camera with you and prove to the world how bad Israel is, since you complained that they killed Jesus. I think that's a fair experiment, and I think that's a fair challenge, Eli, right? Prove me wrong.
Yeah, damn Skippy. And to be fair, I think Ryan will probably be fine. He's already got the attire, the beard, the hijab.
Probably. But I wonder, you guys all have my phone number. Alex Jones, you too. You've got my phone number too. All of you. Somebody will tag you. I'm sure everybody will tag you in this. I'm sure people will go over there and say, hey, Jeremy's talking schmack about you, because people like to do that. So go ahead. Call me. We don't have to argue. We don't have to fight. All you have to do is call me and say, hi, Jeremy, this is Ryan Miata. We're just going to dive right in today. We're going to dive right in. We're going to get that ticket, and I'm going to go prove you wrong. You had no problem. You have a passport. You had no problem flying all over the country doing not live from America. So go show us. Go preach the gospel of Jesus in the middle of Jerusalem, and then go preach it in Tehran. And record the whole thing, please. And I'll pay for the whole thing. Deal? Deal. Because here, ladies and gentlemen, is some real truth for you. What we're witnessing right now is Donald Trump ending the CCP. That's what we're actually witnessing here. Think about what he did. He ended China's access to 45% of the world's oil reserves and redirected $20 trillion to American soil. You did not see that coming? Oh, here, let me break it down for you a little bit easier. China imports 70% of its oil. Thank you, Razmi. Thank you. China imports 70% of its oil. It's the lifeblood of every AI data center, every manufacturing plant, and every military operation, right? 45% of the global oil reserves are in Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. Venezuela, 18%, Saudi Arabia, 16%, Iran, 12%. Without them, China's economy dies. China built energy independence through Iran and Venezuela. Beijing secured 90% of Iran's oil exports and 70% of Venezuela oil exports. Both paid in yen, not dollars. Then, President Trump made a genius move. January, Venezuela regime change. February, Iran leadership obliterated. March, 45% of the oil reserves under U.S. influence. China blinks. Hidden in the fine print, $27.3 trillion in Iranian and Venezuelan resources has to pass through Washington now before somebody buys it. China's energy lifeblood has been severed. Guys understand what he's doing now? China imports 1.2 million barrels a day from Iran and 800,000 barrels a day from Venezuela. 20% of their total oil imports gone. For the first time in decades, China has to buy resources at market rates and not at manipulated market rates. America energy dominance is reprogramming in real time. Forget regime changes. It's energy tribute collection, folks. The U.S. turned access to oil and natural gas into a weapon. And who did that? Donald Trump. Hey, Eli, this dipshit Cameo in here says you are all fools. That's all they can do is come in and say that. They cannot come in here and refute what I just said because their brain doesn't operate like that. Every nation now faces a choice. Access to American markets, access to China supply chains, not both. Never again. It's one or the other. And that's what Donald Trump did. And if you're too blind or too stupid to see that, then I've got no pity for you. None at all. And as a matter of fact, I've got a little video here to play for you that might help make this make sense to even the pea-sized brain dumb shits who come into this chat thinking that they're going to say something smart by not saying anything at all. No facts, no anything. Watch this.
Reason Trump is breaking the world because the world that exists cannot support America anymore. This isn't ideology, it's math. The post-1945 system was built when America produced, America manufactured, America exported. Today, America consumes, America borrows, America finances. The old order only works if the center is strong. It isn't. Trump understands something elites don't admit. The US can no longer afford to be the shock absorber of the world. So he's not trying to fix the system, he's trying to crash it on his terms. Every alliance he weakens, every institution he undermines, every trade rule he breaks. That's not madness. That's preemptive abandonment. Because when the system finally fails, and it will, the country still playing by rules will collapse first. Trump wants America to be unpredictable, unanchored, uncommitted. Why? Because predictable empires get bled slowly. Unpredictable ones get paid quickly. This is why he hates multilateralism. Because multilateral systems force the strong to subsidize the weak. This is why he attacks NATO. Because NATO is an insurance policy America can't afford anymore. This is why he weaponizes tariffs. Because trade used to be mutual. Now it's leverage extraction. This is why he treats war zones like balance sheets. Because reconstruction is one of the last remaining profit pools. Here's the part nobody says. Trump isn't destroying the world, he's disconnecting America from the cost of holding it together. And that terrifies everyone, because deep down they know he's exposing a truth. The global order was never moral, it was affordable, and it isn't anymore. So Trump's strategy is simple. Break it fast, cash out leverage, let others carry the rubble. History won't remember him as a lunatic. It will remember him as the man who ended the illusion early. And that's why the world looks like it's burning. Because it is.
And that's why the world looks like it's burning. Because it is. Because it is. And that's why the entire world can't stand Trump. But they've got no choice but to do what he wants. Because if you don't want to play in the American market, then you're going to become a third world country. The way the world is set up today, you have to be part of the American market. So when Marco Rubio said last week that the old order is dead, that's what he's talking about. The old world order is dead. The world is no longer going to rip off the United States of America. And as a matter of fact, not only is the world not going to rip off the United States of America, but the United States of America is going to take back everything that you ripped us off for the last 5 decades. That's what's happening. That is what's happening. And do you know the best teller of all of this? Time. Like that guy in that video said, he's a foreigner. He said, history will not remember Donald Trump as somebody who, destroyed America. History will remember Donald Trump as the one who saved America. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And you know what I love even more? When people cry about it. That's what I love even more. When people cry their asses off about it, but do nothing about it. Because they can't do anything about it. Because they're weak individuals. And they'll always be weak. Cameo says, well, still waiting by the phone. For what? For what? Would you like to come on the show? Would you like to come on the show? I'd like you to come on the show. As a matter of fact, I'd like to pay for you to come to the studio. That's what I'd really like. But if you want to come on the show for real, and you want to tell me how I'm wrong, please reach out to lfaproducer@gmail.com and set it up. Set it up. I'd love to bring you on. And by the way, neither of us get any questions or we don't even talk until the day I bring you on. How about that? You are just terrified. That's what it boils down to. Hey, dipshit, pussy boy, I just told you. Reach out to lfaproducer@gmail.com and we'll bring you on the show so that you can show your face and that you can tell us where we're wrong. I just told you that. Reach out today. I'd love to have you on. I'd love for you to prove us wrong. But you better bring your A game because you're not dealing with dipshit Nick Fuentes pussies over here. Okay? Okay, good. Moving on to the next video. Dipshit Muslim Rashida Tlaib tries to lock up our very own independent reporters. And the same guys that were down in Georgia talking about the voter fraud and showing that nobody was registered to the places where they were supposedly voting from. She tried to lie and say that they impeded her movement in the halls of Congress. But of course, they had it all on tape.
Said, do you support Americans first?
I'm Muslim, you're racist.
Allegedly impeding the Congress is a federal offense.
Yeah.
So we have to investigate it.
So is this an official investigation here that we're doing?
It's what's called a police stop.
Before you go into your office, Congresswoman, it's been a week since the State of the Union. Have you figured out if you're for the American people or for illegal immigrants first?
Okay.
It's a very simple question. You're a representative.
That's a very racist question. I'm an American, so because I'm Palestinian, I'm Muslim, I'm not an American.
Stand up,
you didn't stand when he said, do you support Americans first?
I'm Muslim, you're racist.
Do you support Americans first, or do you want to gaslight us? Because if you want to gaslight us, then that's fine, but just say it out loud. Don't be scared. She's literally screaming racist to me and you. You're Russian. I'm Cuban. We're both Americans. She says I'm Muslim. So where's the racism in that? Last I checked, being Muslim isn't a race.
The officers just approached us and asked us if we just left Rashida Tlaib's office, which we then said no. So it looks like they called in.
Just hang around here to see what happened because we're sure that this is about us. Can we ask you, sir, did they complain or something? Is that why cops were called up here?
Yeah, something or somebody was harassing him. I don't know. It's all
great.
So actually, we were harassed.
She was calling us racist because we asked her if she stood up for the American people. When Trump asked, she didn't stand up.
You the guys, yeah, don't want to question you.
You have a press pass?
Yeah, we're
But
press.
that's not house issued.
No,
we're
So
press.
that's different. Who are you with?
We're with Frontlines. That's
Okay,
all.
do me a favor and just put that down, okay?
So is this an official investigation here that we're doing?
It's what's called a police stop right now.
Okay.
So we can figure out what's going on.
Got it.
Okay.
So
allegedly impeding the Congress is a federal offense.
Yeah.
So we have to investigate this. So just cooperate with us.
Sure.
If you're stopping them from, if they have to divert around you because you are now blocking them.
So they're trying to get them with a federal offense because they're saying that he impeded her somehow and that it's a federal offense to impede members of Congress. Well, we saw the whole video. Hey, for the trolls in the chat, here, I got something to play for you. Ready? Watch this.
عن إيمان.
نعم الإيمان يوحدنا ويقوينا في هذه الأوقات.
Megan Kelly and Tucker
لنتذكر دائما
Carlson.
أن الإيمان هو نورنا. الحمد لله. السلام عليكم أيها المؤمنون، دعونا نتحدث بصدق عن إيمان.
نعم الإيمان يوحدنا ويقوينا في هذه الأوقات.
لنتذكر دائما أن الإيمان هو نورنا. الحمد لله. السلام عليكم أيها المؤمنون، دعونا نتحدث بصدق.
Is that not true now? Is that not true? Simping for Muslims. Save the Muslims. Don't kill them. Don't hurt the Muslims. They're just living their lives, praying to Mecca and Medina. No, no, no. Eli, my favorite thing is to pull trolls out of the woodwork and make them give us views and help our algorithm. And I always say this, Eli. Remember this old saying? Losers focus on winners. Winners focus on winning. And the losers are watching whose show again, is it?
They sure do like to stay in there and just keep on going. Just keep on going.
Well, you know why? It's because they love the content. They love the content. They're like, Eli, they're like the fags in the 70s. They stay in the closet, but they can't help but come out once in a while.
We gotta get them to go back in there. Lock the door.
No, not dodging. Actually, Cameo. Actually, Eli, go ahead and silence him now for the day. Hey, Cameo, you can watch, but you can't speak anymore. I gave you the email. You're more than welcome to come on the program tomorrow for a fun Friday. I'd be happy to put you in your place. Absolutely happy to do that for you. Hey, we got some good news. The U.S. Supreme Court just handed Trump a massive win, unanimous win on immigration. And guess who authored the opinion? Guess who it was? Ketanji Brown Jackson handed Trump a big win. Oh, this is a good one. Are you guys ready for this? Here we go. The U.S. Supreme Court does not reach unanimous decisions very often, especially when it has something to do with Trump, but it happened. The nation's highest court just ruled that President Trump's favor on immigration and immigration judges, saying that federal courts must defer to the rulings of immigration judges. They can no longer get involved when it comes to what President Trump can or can't do regarding immigration, that it has to go to an immigration judge. And most immigration judges already side with President Trump for the most part. The decision makes it harder for people to abuse our asylum system. The opinion on the decision was even written by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, a very stupid liberal Biden appointee. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson authored the unanimous ruling Wednesday, ordering federal appeals courts to defer to immigration judges when reviewing asylum decisions bolstering the executive branch's authority in immigration cases, and handing the Trump administration a major win as it pushes an aggressive deportation agenda. Isn't that huge? Isn't that weird? Like, I couldn't believe that when I read that. A complete 9-0 decision in the United States Supreme Court for President Trump. This is huge. I did not see... What is the old saying? I did not have that on my bingo card. I sure didn't. Did not have that on my bingo card. Somebody said Obama appointed her. I thought Biden did. I thought Biden did because she was a black woman. Eli, can you look that up? I'm almost positive that Joe Biden appointed Ketanji Brown Jackson when, what's her name passed away? Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm almost positive it was Biden who appointed Ketanji Brown Jackson. And I think I remember the whole, well, he only did it because she was a woman. Right? It was Biden, right?
President Joe Biden nominated and appointed Ketanji Brown Jackson to the U.S. Supreme Court. She was nominated 2022 to succeed retiring Justice Stephen Breyer, fulfilling a campaign promise to appoint the first black woman to the High Court.
And that's what I thought. Because Ruth Bader Ginsburg died on Trump's first watch. If you remember, he was on the tarmac, and a reporter said, "Hey, did you remember that do you know that Ruth Bader Ginsburg just died?" And he was actually kind of upset. Trump was. He was like, "Really?" He was kind of, hurt. He was like, "That's horrible. I hadn't heard that." Right? Yeah, it was the Autopen. You're probably right. It was probably the Autopen. Yeah, I thought it was. Again, it's going to be very hard for Queer Mayo to come on here tomorrow and debate me. This stuff just burns into my brain. It's going to be very difficult to beat me in a debate where you tell me I'm wrong. Not to say that just happened. I'm just saying that when it comes to politics, I live, eat, breathe, and sleep it. I don't like to, but it's my job to do that for all of you. All right. We're going to move on to The View. Actually, real quick. Elizabeth Hasselbeck is back. Elizabeth Hasselbeck is back in the chair, and she's sitting in for Alyssa, what's her name? I don't know why. I don't know if Alyssa's been replaced. I don't know if she's just sitting in because she's on vacation. But they brought Elizabeth Hasselbeck back to The View. Now, if you remember, she used to be on The View. Boy, I bet they regret that decision. Jeremy, who would you most want to have a debate with? Ooh, Ryan Matta. Or Owen Schroyer. Either one of those two idiots. But I want to do it in person. I wouldn't do it on Zoom. I would do it in person, or else I wouldn't do it at all. So Elizabeth Hasselbeck, Alyssa's on maternity leave. Okay, they brought her back, and I bet you they wish they didn't. Her first day there, she creamed them on almost everything that they said. Listen to this one.
I think all lives matter to God. And we're in uncommon times, so we need to have uncommon sense about things like this. Yes, there will be mistakes made, but I think if Kristi Noem were up for promotion right now and she put forward the statistics that 0 illegals released into the U.S. for 10 months straight have not crossed, okay? That nearly 3 million aliens have left the United States, that we have the lowest murder rate in 125 years, that fentanyl trafficking is down 56% at the border, and daily encounters have gone down 96%. Hang on one second. We need a strong border, especially now with our current global situation. And I believe that you may say you don't want border control and you're against ICE, but I actually don't believe you in your daily lives. How many people in the audience here had to go through security to get here? Raise your hand. Just be honest. Otherwise, you go to jail, I guess, for illegal trespassing, right? This is an authorized audience. They had to go through security to get through the border, to get right here, to just hear us talk. We need strong borders more than ever right now. We are being infiltrated.
But Elizabeth, can I give you on the border when Renee Good and Alex Peretti were murdered, and death is not a mistake. That was a murder. No,
that is a murder.
Now let me finish.
As were those killed by illegal immigrants. Murder.
If they were not allowed to have an audience, none of these women would ever sound like they're winning an argument. None of these ladies on The View would ever sound like anything they said was smart. The only thing that validates any stupid thing that they say, the only thing that validates it is the audience cheering. But the audience doesn't know shit anyway. The audience wouldn't even raise their hands when they knew that Elizabeth Hasselbeck was right. When she said, how many of you had to show your ID and walk through a metal detector to get approved to come into this very studio? And this is just a TV show of a bunch of dumb women up here clucking like hens. She got him. If it was just a one-on-one, Joy Behar would lose every day. Sunny Hostin would lose every day. Alyssa Farah would lose every day. Whoopi Goldberg would lose to a child because she might be the dumbest person on planet Earth. The clapping is what makes it sound valid, but these people have no idea what they're talking about.
And the clapping only occurs when the bright, shining light tells them
That's
to.
right.
They don't know what they're clapping about.
That's right.
It's a crowd of uninformed morons.
That's absolutely right. It's all fake. Here's where she's talking to him about masks.
If somebody come at me with a mask on, run and talk about, hey, and didn't show me they were...
This is the party of masks. You guys force masks on everybody in the United States. Everyone here can't see my face, and, I just can't. I can't. I love you, but I can't.
But...
I love you, but I can't.
I know that you can't, but I think... I was going to say, that's a whole different thing. I'm talking about people walking down the street with their kids on the way to school, getting rubbed over,
Hold on, let me pause it right there. It's a whole different thing. These people are wearing masks coming down and trying to get you. Okay, but you wore a mask and wouldn't let people make a living. You wore a mask and wouldn't let people outside without one. You wore a mask and turned people away from hospitals. You wore a mask and gave people restraining orders from grocery stores. You wore a mask and told children they weren't allowed to go and learn in school. You wore enforced masks on people and told them they weren't allowed to go worship God, which is a First Amendment right, because it was going to hurt somebody or kill somebody. You wore a mask and wouldn't let anybody touch anybody. You wore a mask and wouldn't let anybody say goodbye to their loved ones and hug their loved ones. Which one's worse?
Oh, and I'm sorry, on top of that, they also closed down gyms and, beaches, but kept McDonald's open, because they cared about your health.
And liquor stores. They closed churches and left liquor stores open. They closed churches and left weed stores open. They closed churches and left paraphernalia stores open. They closed churches and they left porno stores open. But, for your health. Eat a big bag of steamy pile of pig shit, you stupid, worthless retard.
Let's give him a big old shit sandwich to you. What do you say, Jeremy?
I have no love loss for retarded idiots on this planet. Vita Rose just gave a $100 donation, Eli. Very, very hard-earned $100. $100 that she could probably use to pay off her electric bill. $100 that she could use to put into her tank for gas. $100 that she could go to the grocery store and make sure that she had a week's worth of groceries. And she donated it to us. Thank you so very much, Vita Rose. Eli, we're making that mask thing a short clip. Don't forget that. Okay? From the time that Elizabeth Hasselbeck said it until we just said that. That's the short clip. But let's go on with these idiots.
I think it's fair.
That's what
number
my
one
point
thing you.
If somebody
Okay, never mind.
with
It's
a
done.
mask on,
No, I bet you they wish they didn't bring. Oh, by the way, they're not just coming at you with a mask on, idiot. First of all, if you're an illegal alien and people are coming at you with masks on, they also have guns on their side, vests and jackets that say ICE, police. They've got usually their name on there. In some portions, they have official badge ID numbers on their very vests. There's like 6 or 7 of them, and they pull out of a car that has lights on the inside of it. Usually, they're not thugs trying to rob you. And ain't nobody trying to kidnap you anyway, Whoopi. He's just going to try to kidnap you, you troll, you ghoul.
Can tell Whoopi got all the white liberal women in the audience all excited when she was like, you coming at me? You gonna come at me with a mask on when I just walking down a street? Stop talking like that, you retard.
Yeah, and speaking of masks, didn't you put one on Ted Danson once for Halloween? Just wondering.
Yeah, that wasn't even a mask. That was black face paint because Ted was doing blackface.
Well, how about that? Kick me in the Jimmy. Eli, it's sometimes a curse to know all of this stuff. I wish we could just unload it on some of these people once in a while rather than the echo chamber that we're in.
Just like Thanos, you're not the only ones cursed with knowledge, Stark.
Yeah, I'll bet you they wish they never brought her back. I bet they're like, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Why'd we bring her back? What do we got here? About 15 minutes? All right. Where are we at? 15 minutes, I think we can get through most of this. Let's go. The guy that beat, what's her name? Who's the little short, fat hood rat, Eli?
Yeah.
Jasmine Crockett. The guy that beat Jasmine Crockett. He says he's a Christian, right? Well, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he's one of those Christians that believe in non-binary, and he's one of those Christians that believe in you could be a homo and still make it to heaven. He's one of these Christians that believe that transgenderism should be a thing. Well, he recently went on Joe Rogan because he's not stupid. He's smart. He knows that if he goes on Joe Rogan, he's going to get a lot of attention. I want to play you that clip and then a few others, just so you know who you're dealing with here in Texas.
But I say all this in terms of, in context of abortion, because before God comes over Mary and we have the incarnation, God asks for Mary's consent, which is remarkable. I mean, go back and read this in Luke. I mean, the angel comes down and asks Mary if this is something she wants to do. And she says, if it is God's will, let it be done. Let it be. Let it happen. So to me, that is an affirmation in one of our most central stories that creation has to be done with consent. You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that we engage in as human beings. But that has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom. And to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus. And so that's how I come down on that side of the issue.
Really? Okay. Well, we have another video here to show you this guy. Very well spoken, isn't he? He's going to trick a lot of people, isn't he? Here he is in a church.
Did they teach you in Sunday school that Jesus Christ himself was a radical feminist?
Did they teach you in Sunday school that Jesus Christ himself was a radical feminist? He says. Here's him again.
Before we go further, I want to acknowledge that our trans community needs abortion care too. Defending trans Texans is something we have to do every day.
Defending trans Texas is something that we have to do every single day, he says. And guess who endorsed him? This is not going to be good for him because this guy's not popular. Remember Beto O'Rourke? Yeah, he endorsed him along with Jen Psaki.
Yeah, I've never been more excited. I mean, let's start with James Tallarico. This is one of, if not the most talented politicians I have ever seen. Those of us who have watched his career in the Texas House have known that he's incredibly talented, but for the rest of the nation, they got to see him in the closing months of this really competitive primary, fought against another generational talent in Jasmine Crockett, who made James an even better candidate. We couldn't ask for anyone better to be at the top of the ticket. Yeah, I've never been more excited. I mean, let's start with James Tallarico. This is one of, if not the most talented politicians I have ever seen. Those of us who have watched his career in the Texas House have known that he's incredibly talented, but for the rest of the nation, they got to see him in the closing months of this really competitive primary, fought against another generational talent in Jasmine Crockett, who made James.
So he's got the backing of Beto O'Rourke. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news coming into Lfa TV right now. So let's run that audio here. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news coming out of Washington, D.C. as of right now. Kristi Noem has been fired as the head of the Department of Homeland Security and replaced with Mark Wayne Mullen as the nominee to be confirmed. Which the only issue here is Mark Wayne Mullen is from Oklahoma, and the governor there is a wench, and who knows who she's going to replace Mark Wayne Mullen with. Ladies and gentlemen, major news. Kristi Noem has been fired. Not Pam Bondi, but Kristi Noem. And Donald Trump has named Mark Wayne Mullen to replace her, which means that if he's a senator from Oklahoma, well, it means two things. Okay, this is just breaking news. Sorry, guys. This is massive breaking news. And I think it has something to do with the affair that Kristi Noem lied about with Corey Lewandowski. I told you that was going to come back to bite her in the butt. It may have something to do with the fact that she was under oath and she was testifying and that question came up and she didn't answer that question. I don't know what it's over, to be honest with you. Maybe it's over that not as many deportations have been done. I'm going to tell you some insider news here in just a minute, okay? I'm going to tell you some insider news here in just a minute. But there's two things that are for sure here. Number one, because Mark Wayne Mullen has been in the Senate, he will most likely be confirmed by the Senate. So that's a good thing, right? That he'll get confirmed. But the bad thing is the governor there in Oklahoma gets to choose his replacement. And she's not the brightest bulb. So who knows who she's going to choose to replace him? You know what I mean? But clearly President Trump has probably got all this worked out, or else he probably wouldn't have put Mark Wayne Mullen up in that position. But here we go. Kristi Noem fired, Mark Wayne Mullen named to replace her, and Pam Bondi still has a job. Now, there might be some justification for this deeper than what all of you know. Do you remember about 2 months ago when I told you, and I came home from Utah, and I told you that Tom Homan wants to make arrests of these people like Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker and all these, but there's somebody up the line that's not letting him? Do you remember when I told you that? And I said that's all I'm going to say about it because I can't say anything further right now. That was right when I came home from Utah, right? Yeah, Governor Stitt there. Sorry, not woman. Governor Stitt of Oklahoma. Yeah, my fault. I was mixing him up with somebody else. You're right. You're right. My fault on that one. Well, the reason is because that higher up that I was told was because of her. I was told by multiple people that know all of them very well that Kristi Noem was not allowing Tom Homan to arrest anybody. Now, I don't know beyond what I was told by 3 different people that day, the day before I left to come home, that was it. So this is news just coming over the airwaves right now. Things could change over the next hour. That's why you got to stay tuned right here. I do think it was because of the affair and the arrests. It might be. But Kristi Noem has got a lot of baggage, man. I didn't like when he chose her to begin with, to be honest with you. I was one of the first ones to say, Kristi Noem as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security? Like overseeing ICE and FEMA and all that? Like, I didn't like that then. But my biggest problem with this is Pam Bondi still having a job and Kristi Noem not. Now, if it is true, what I was told when I was in Utah, that the reason why Tom Homan could not arrest people that were getting in the way of ICE operations was because of Kristi Noem, if that is true, then she should be fired. If it is true that more deportations should have happened under Kristi Noem's watch and weren't being done, then she should be fired. Absolutely. 100%. But I don't think she should be fired over her affair with Corey Lewandowski. It is what it is. That affair happened before she was Secretary of Homeland Security anyways. Right? BM71 says this guy is a crackpot, needs to be stopped. I think you might be behind in the stream. I don't know what you're talking about, but you might be talking about Walz. Sometimes some people are behind in the stream. Jeremy, how confident are you that that's true? You're talking about the telling Tom Homan that he couldn't arrest anyone? 99.9%. The people that told me wouldn't just say that. You know what I mean? It's 99.9%. But I don't think that she should get fired over her affair with Corey Lewandowski. I watched her, believe this or not, the night that I met Matt Gaetz and his wife in Orlando, Florida. That night I saw Corey Lewandowski and Kristi Noem together hammered and all over each other. So I know that part's true firsthand. I witnessed that with my own eyes. But as far as the Tom Homan stuff, I can only tell you what I was told. Okay? Wow, crazy news here at the end of the show, Eli. Crazy news here at the end of the show. I did not expect that to happen before handing it off to Will. Will, if you're watching right now, you've got to keep up on this, okay? Will, if you're watching right now, continue with this story. Get as much information as you can in real time. We'll try to feed you through our Signal chat in real time. I know people are going to want to talk about this. I know people are going to want to hear about this. It's an unfolding story right now. Again, I don't think it's over the affair with Corey Lewandowski. That was years ago. It really has nothing to do with right now. And again, I apologize for the whole, I thought for some reason I was getting the Oklahoma governor mixed up with Colorado, I think. So my fault on that one. Crazy, crazy news. Anyway, before we go here, what's her name? Jasmine Crockett. She was caught crying yesterday because she lost her Senate primary. Watch this.
No one. I gotta get through this. 6 years ago, no one believed that I could become a state representative. I wanna see you out that door, baby. Bye, bye, bye.
I love that people are using our songs here now that we do. 6 years ago, nobody ever thought I could be a representative, but here I am, about to be fired. My problem with this whole, and getting back to, I just wanted to make sure we got a couple of these things in before we went. My problem with the whole Kristi Noem thing is, because there's already a Renee Good, Alex Pretty, we killed them, we shouldn't have killed them, blah, blah, blah. It's just going to give the left more ammo to say that Trump killed her, or Trump fired her because of what she did, because of who she killed. You know what I mean? That's what the left is going to say. So it's now being said that he reassigned her. Well, that's usually what happens. Hey, before we go, Alex Stein, pimp on a blimp, caught up with Dan Crenshaw yesterday.
Dan, I bet you didn't see that loss coming, Dan. Dan, did you see that loss coming, Crenshaw? Crenshaw, you took the L. Hey, Crenshaw, you took the L. Did you see that coming? I know you only got one eye, Cyclops. You lost. Did you do a good job? Hey, Dan, great job on your election, brother. You're a loser. We got your ass, Dan. You're a loser. Great job, dude. Are you scared? Is that why you're walking away?
Dan, Dan, you lost. Dan. Now, I think it's funny that we haven't heard from Dan Crenshaw after losing. He's probably really, really butthurt. People are saying apparently Noem did not get fired. Trump posted about they agreed to separate. She's going to take a new position. That's fired. If somebody's doing a good job, they don't get taken away from the job they're doing. That's fired. And there's a lot of reasons why he could have fired her. Trust me, guys, that's fired. Okay? In politics, that's fired. Either way, she's not going to be doing the job anymore. Eli, anything to say on the way out? My friend, oh, he's over there. Got his tank top on already. It's like he's taking off his clothes after work.
I'm sorry, I get excited. Check out all the other shows of the day. Stick around for Will's show. He's going to break all this down. We're going to feed him all kinds of information. Give him a like, give him a share. All the other shows. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. Favorite day of the week.
Absolutely. Will Johnson coming up next. Stay tuned right here on Lfa TV to get the skinny on what is happening. This is all breaking, folks, so things can happen quick. There are right ways and wrong ways, but there's only one Yahweh. So stand up tall, keep your shoulders back, keep your chest out, keep your head up high, because you are a child of God, and no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. Keep your friends, families, and pets close. Keep that smile on your face, and whatever you do, never stop spreading the gospel. I can't wait to find out what happens the rest of the day. I'll be in the chat right along with you. Have a great day. Peace.